them know that we are the American Indians. Copper color Indians, baby. A real Indian, American Indian is me, not from Africa. Remember that.
African Americans here, but they recently moved here from places like Kenya, Ethiopia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Zaire. But now the brother whose family's lived in this country for generations, occupying space in all the locations, New York, Miami, LA, Detroit, Chicago, even if he's wearing a dashiki and sporting an afro. And if you go to Africa in search of your race, you'll find out quick, you're not an African American. You're just a black American in Africa taking up space. Why you keep trying to attach yourself to a continent where even if you got the chance to go and you went, most people that wouldn't even claim you as one of them, as a pure.
And we are not Africans. We are not African. Are you an African, baby? Huh?
Yeah. Conscious. Matic. Alright, so far away I come from. I sit and wonder about the times that it made sense, but nowadays I don't worry about what's past tense. My younger days I used to hang around with mad friends. If we just fell out, I don't really know what happened. A lot of people come around and keep you stagnant, distraction. So yeah, don't show them no compassion. We was really out here grinding, really rapping, stacking them Franklins, them Grants, and them Jacksons. Imagine if we would've never chased our passion, we probably would've never knew what happened. They was all just talk, we showed action. Once they leave, don't you let them back in. Just pack up all their stuff and send them packing. I'm blacking on anybody thinking they could act up with me. This vibe ain't for free, cause where I'm at in life, I'm only focused on me. Note the self, know yourself, focus on your health. They don't wanna help, then fuck it, do it by yourself. Don't give them no excuse to put you on the shelf. If it's me, myself, and I, then it's no one else. Yeah. Self-love is the best love. It's the people who always give that never get love. They ain't real enough to probably say they messed up. Just let it go and make the best of it. Yeah, self-love is the best love. It's the people who always give that never get love. They ain't real enough to probably say they messed up. Just let it go and make the best of it. Love yourself.
Yeah, practice what you preaching, but clearly they not practicing entitlement and pride. Yeah, those two things they factor in. Spiral out of control just from all the bantering. When they accustomed to talking behind your back with all that chattering, I remove myself before I abuse myself. Talk about self-love, but you gotta do it yourself. Yeah, I won't act too good for no help. We all healing now. Said some things about me that ain't true. How you feeling now? Even at my lowest, they tried to find a way to bring me down. Big y'all up for years, ain't talking just the brand or the sound. I don't throw things around, I do it from the heart proud. Mama just wanna see her sunshine, removing them dark clouds.
Yeah, self-love is the best love. It's the people who always give that never get love. They ain't real enough to probably say they messed up. Just let it go and make the best of it. Yeah, self-love is the best love. It's the people who always give that never get love. They ain't real enough to probably say they messed up. Just let it go and make the best of it. Love yourself. ISO Dama. Woo! Hey, it's too many lies, too many lies. Hey, it's too many lies, too many lies. Yo, it's too many. Hey, it's too many. Yo, it's too many. Yo, it's too many lies. Look in my eyes, they know I'm the truth. They know that. Knocking them down every time I step in the booth. We ain't gotta lie, they know we the vibe, we living in proof. It's young conscious, shoot my life a movie, I live in a spoof. Ain't no sticking around, I'm on the move, I'm checking the dudes. Yeah, it's only us two, so you know we copping that coupe. We on the roof, smoking dope, look at the view. Yeah, we used to chill on the stoop, now we out here breaking the news. It ain't what you really could do, cause we ain't got nothing to lose. We ain't switched side with no cruise, we just stayed out of the loop. Now we out here letting it loose, every shot we took it was swoosh. Gotta get it, ain't no excuse, ain't left to prove. Hey, yeah, hey, it's too many lies, too many lies. Hey, it's too many lies, too many lies. Yo, it's too many, hey, it's too many. Yo, it's too many.
Yeah, ask them a real question, yeah, I bet it's all lies. Ay, they won't cross that line for a fact, that's offside. then let me park it in the driveway. They just want the praise like they Yahweh. Getting so much bread, get a ride way. We done already won, yeah, that's worth the ride way. But they still lying right through their teeth, and they still hiding behind many truths. They was D9, watch my every move, tell them keep fine. Leave that shit on scene, I ain't replying. Less I know you, that don't mean I'm Hollywood, that just mean I'm Hollywood. All y'all I probably stood on the falls, all cause. More times I probably should. I don't know nobody like us, you see how much time it took.
Yeah, hey, it's too many lies, too many lies, too many lies, hey, it's too many lies, too many lies, too many, it's too many, hey, it's too many, yo, it's too many,
Hey, it's too many lies, hey. Yeah, ISO, Indies, Diamond.
Hey! What the people? Howdy, yeah. Ryan watching in this bitch. Where's everybody at? Oh, there you go. Hey. Damn, where's everybody? I'm seeing 1,000 people up here. On Twitter. I gotta do better. Hey. Well, it's saying 1,015 people. Where the hell the people? Where is y'all watching? Twitter. Okay, now it's going down. Maybe they're coming over here. Or is they at Twitter? Shit. I streamed to Twitter and YouTube. Hey, Straight Smoke. Charlie Redeemed, Shirley Baker. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all, Twitter. Come over in YouTube. Hello. Let me go over to Twitter and put a post out and tell them to come over here. That's crazy. Copy. Let me go over to Twitter. Go over to my Twitter page. God damn. Damn. Hey, y'all. I can see y'all, but y'all need to come over to YouTube. Here is the link. Insert. That's what they're not used to YouTube. All right. Here we go. I think hopefully that'll do it. So, because I'm all right. So I'm streaming over to Twitter, which is where all the people are, and explains. Now it's down to 872. So maybe they're hitting it and coming over here. I don't know what the hell is going on. But anyway, hey. What's good, y'all? Hi. I'm so happy, y'all. So, a lot going on. And I do have some slides today. Where y'all from? Where's everybody from? Y'all, you can't type on the Twitter. Because I won't see your messages. I can't see your messages. You have to type in YouTube. So if you're on Twitter, you got to hit that link and come over into YouTube. Y'all did this before. Y'all do this all the time. Come over. Unless you just don't want to, that's cool. Because they're probably interacting with the people in Twitter. Okay, I see it going down. Okay, so maybe they're coming over here. I don't know. Hit the link. Come on in, y'all. So, what I want to get into today, Sylvia. Hey, what I want to get in today is Raleigh, North Carolina. Whoa. All right. I'm Black, Chicano, Apache Indian with a little French and Spanish. All right now. All right. Welcome. It's so many of y'all that I haven't seen. Did you find me on Twitter? Did you see me streaming over on Twitter? Okay. Now they're coming. All right. Ty in Carolina. Hey. Hey now. Hey. All right. So it seems like they're coming over. Folks are coming over. Howdy doody. All right. So what I want to get in today, and I do have slides, and I will resume establishing the lecturing in Zoom. And I have a date for establishing your family tribe. This year, it's going to be all different. My whole platform is different, who I deal with and what I hold on my piano. You know, the unprofessionalism is not me, because now it's real, because I'm dealing with the people I've been dealing with all my life in Twitter. So I do have a date for the establishing your individual family tribes. That's a must. You must do it. Otherwise, all the tribes are still dead. Seriously. But as a people, here's what I want to say. We have to raise our standards. We really need to raise our standards as a people. I mean, I've been in this YouTube world. It's getting ready to go on 5 years now. And A lot of things are held differently. And I, I studied it for 5 years. Wow, Arizona. I studied it for 5 years, and there's different, you know, a lot of different personalities that we have to deal with, you know, and you really got to work with, you know, the folks and give them the option to, you know, want to do better, because I, I have a hard time believing that, I don't know why, but that we were a humble people um before foreigners came here, because it's so different now. Our behaviors towards each other are very different. And I know that there's a strong and powerful um resentment between the northern states and the southern states. I never ever looked at our people from like a northern states, southern states, west coast. I never looked at our people in that manner. And you would never see that and understand it until you start studying history, really. Because, you know, we're completely blind. We, for so many years, we've been like really blind about the relationship and the differences in our treatment towards each other. And none of us in all our life ever judged our people based on northern people uh, versus southern people and west coast. It, we never thought that way. I didn't. We didn't think like, if we go down south and we see our people, it's where we came from, a lot of us. Or when we go anywhere, we never just like, oh, she's from the south. Oh, girl, forget it. It was never like that. I never thought like that. And I've never been around any of our people that just thought like that. But when you're in YouTube and you're dealing with, we're dealing with each other as a people, as Indians. Um, we're from so many different states, northern states, southern states, west coast, you know, um, Central America, South America, um, you know, and further up north. We, we, hey, Conwolf, we did not look at ourselves as that, as a little girl. But now, um now as a kid, I remember, and I'm talking the 70s. I remember when we were little, we loved to hear southern accents. We thought it was cute, and we just loved it, because we that migrated here, pushed off from the south and had to come to the north by force. We lost our accents. Me being a 70s baby, and my mom being a 1940s baby, and my grandmother. However, my grandmother being born in the 30s, she still had the culture, heavy Southern culture, not the accent. Now, my great grandmother, she had completely had her Southern accent, and she died before I was born. She was born in 1908. And my great 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 grandmother, born in 1878, they had their heavy Southern accents based on what my mom told us. We lost our accents in 1931. You might as well say, going forward, we begin sounding like Northern folks, and the culture here took on the culture of the Northern Indians. So, and when we go to South, we have totally different accents from our families that live in the South, our bloodlines. So being here that many years, I mean, you're talking since 1929, my bloodline that I came from, my grandmother, we've been here since 1929. So a lot of our ways and the way we learned and understand things is very much like the customs of the Northern Indians. Okay, so that being said, a lot of the Northern Indians and Southern, a lot of the Northern Indians are very politically active in the North. A lot. A lot of the Northern Indians are Democrats, but a lot of them are now moving away from the Democratic control. So, with that being said, I say this. I now, being in YouTube for 5 years, I'm now seeing and beginning to understand the the distance of our Southern brothers and sisters from the Northern brothers and sisters. I don't see it from the West Coast being that way, because there's two areas. I'm sorry, there's two areas. I don't feel it from the West Coast. Oh, Rodney, I'm going to talk to you in a minute. We don't feel it from the West Coast because there's two areas of the United States that are very multicultural. And that's the West Coast and the East Coast northern states, the colonial states. Very multicultural. All races are in like California. And then you get up here in the colonial states, it's where all the different races of people from all countries are at. So we're accustomed to working with them and culturally understanding them. Whereas in the South, it's not as multicultural. Now, you have people there from different races and stuff, but not heavy like it is here in the North and where it would be in California. I'm understanding this now. And so, and also in the South, I know in the Southern states, the Confederate states, you see a lot more pure people, pure blood people, like us Indian Negroes. You see a lot more pure blood Indians in the South than you would in the North, in the colonial states and California. So the Southern states are very accustomed to pure blood Indians. Whereas here in the North, and in the West Coast, it's very common for having mixed race families. In the South, it's very pure, and it's been like that for a lot of years. So that being said, a lot of what our Southerners, I'm finding, at least the ones from the streets, from the hoods, and in YouTube, are very uneducated about being multicultural, because I'm finding a lot of Southerners, whether they're white or I'll use modern day words, black, they tend to stick with their own kind, with the big families. I find that. Whereas in the North and any other states outside of the Confederate, like Texas, you're talking Midwest too, very multicultural. It seems like it's just the southern states that are very strict on marrying your own kind, whether they're white or black. It doesn't matter. So when they see us, someone like myself, communicating and intermingling, in heavy conversations with other races of people, we are then judged to be the enemy or an agent. And that's just not the case. It's we were raised multiculturally. Here in Connecticut, there's a lot of white people here, and we grow up with them. Whether we're at work all day, it's so many thousands of white people from all different parts of Europe, whether they're Italian, Irish, French, Polish, all the different Europeans, England. We're very accustomed to them and we're used to them. So, and we hang out with them, whereas in the South, the deep South, they're just like hands down. And I'm believing that has to do a lot with, I'm learning that it has to do a lot with our history. Because remember, the Confederate States always wanted to succeed from the Union. And so a lot of people from the South that joined the Union ended up coming to the North now by means of being pushed out or burned out or threatened out. And here's another thing I want to say. When we say that we're pushed, or a lot of us say that we're pushed off our lands in the South and forced to come to the North, what we're failing to understand is that we must stop blaming that solely on the white guy that ran us out of our farm or our home. Because what I'm learning is that a lot of our families that joined the Union, that we were the ones that were threatened because we wanted to join the Union and make it a state, our area a state. So it was our own people coming back to us and at us like we do today for revenge. And we were scorned by our own families because we joined the Union. And I'm like, wow. And this is why I say we can't continue to put bad history from the South on white people. Because remember, we were dominant in the South. Places like South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, Mississippi, Alabama, Oklahoma, all those southern states and Midwest. We were dominant as a people, as a race. Now, remember, most of the colonial states are here in the North. Okay, the 13 colonies, they're all predominantly here in the North. So that being said, we know that the South was predominantly us. Give me a 1 if you understand what I'm saying, because it's so important. Hi, Eric. Hope you keep hanging here. Give me a 1 if you understand what I'm saying. This is my whole platform. correcting history and making it make real sense. Hey, George. I'm glad. Oh, good. I'm so glad. See, a lot of us, we get these very narrow-minded stories that everything the white guy did, and it wasn't that many of them in the colonial states to do what was done to us as a people in the South, because we dominated. We were the majority of the people, as we are still. So when you hear of us being burned out, our house, you got to understand that we maintain those same attitudes towards each other today. That deep hate, you know, the South not wanting, to change and wanting things to stay the way they were. Okay, and not wanting to move things in a more industrialized way. So when our families, a lot of us in the South joined the Union and fought against and war our own brothers, meaning our cousins, our uncles, everybody. War was war. Fought in the Union so we can have this type of system. And that's a fact. There were not enough Europeans, white Europeans over here for you to blame this story on them. They didn't, like they said when they come over here, a lot of them tell you, look, my family was not a slave owner. A lot of Europeans from Poland, all these other, my family's not a slave owner. We came here in 1900s. Or, yeah. So this is why we twiddle our fingers and say, well, if we got burned out our house and told to get out and leave, who was doing that to us? It was our own people, because we dominated the South. We dominated. We were doing. Now, I'm not Xing out Europeans, because there were white Europeans in the South. A lot of them were mulattoes that you don't know about, that had more white features, that were Indians like us, that had more of the European features. Yeah, they did threaten and run us out too, because many of us joined the Union. So a lot of our ancestors that look like me were told, get the hell out. You got 24 hours to get out. Only a Negro predominantly could have done that, because that's who dominated the South. You got 24 hours to get the hell out of here, because they knew, word spread, that a lot of families joined the Union. And that was the beginning of war. Get out, or we're going to burn your ass out. Because we joined the Union. And this is why the North opened its doors to us, to move, and made space for us, and begin, having these high-rise buildings for us to come to escape that. To escape the beginning of that war and those wars. This was the aftermath. We needed somewhere to go. Even after the war was over, we were being forced out. Because if you look at how we act, we still do it. And you got to understand, you got to feel history. And I'm not making this up. For real. Because it's all about who was dominating down there to do this shit. If we dominated down there to do this shit, there's no way a few white guys are going to be in the South pushing us off our land. It has to be our people. Because otherwise, explain the Seminoles beating the shit out of American soldiers. Explain that. Yeah. So you have to open your, this is why I said you got to open your head, open your mind, and you got to start thinking that way. You got to start using that deep common sense is there. You got to say, well, wait a minute. It was so many of us in the South and those states that I'm naming, those southern states, Confederate states, even after the Civil War was over. That's when the bulk of us was pushed out of the South. And we went either north, up here where I am, or the inner cities of Chicago. That's when we start filling up in a lot of the inner cities because we said, F it. We got off the land because we was being threatened. It's just like being threatened by a gang today. Because that's how we got down. We were territorial and we got in cliques and everything and threatened people, don't come over here. Who says that? Don't come over here, man. Don't come over here selling nothing. It's my shit. That's the same thing we did down south. You got to get out. You fought with them buckwats. They called the white man in the north, the colonial soldiers, buckwats. You fighting with them motherfuckers? Get out now. That's our attitude. That's how we act. See, in our heads, they put that it was just only white men saying that to us. That is us in real time. We're still doing it. We look at it, you get out. Look at the things we do. Look, you got to look at what we do today. You got the drug dealers that have their territories, and we brought some of those behaviors to the north too. Think about Bumpy Johnson. You ain't got my money? You got my shit? Fuck it. Pop the trunk or the car. Put your ass in the truck and drive you around for a few hours. See the next time you fuck up my money. That's our attitude. And we keep blaming that very way of being on white guys. We're forgetting all about our rude fucking ancestors. We were very, that's why they called us those names. Scavengers. We was mean and just horrible. And we still have that threatening manner when you come up. I'll use modern day words. We still have that threatening manner mentality. A lot of us brought that mentality from the South to the North. Really. We still act like that. that mentality. And so if you lay back and think, the predominance in the South during 1861, we were predominance. That's why we were in the legislature. Those of us that wanted to be civil. If you got kicked out of your land in like 1860, 1870, wow, our brothers put on ties and shit and went and were legislators. Those were considered the good guys trying to do good. But you still had us. You had Smoke Signal, Chief Holiday. I'm just putting a picture in your head. You had Bro Sanchez. You had all our kind of people, our roughnecks in the South. Yeah, I know who you are. You little man, you rah brother, ain't you? You get the fuck out now. You got 24 hours to get out your fucking house. So I'm gonna burn that shit down with your family in it or not. Who do you think we were scared of? just like today. Who runs up on Bumpy Johnson? Come on, y'all. And and you done did something. Oh, I know you, Bumpy. But who running up on Bumpy Johnson? Nobody. Who's running up now? Who's running up on the brothers in the Nation of Islam in the 70s? No fucking body. That's why it was so easy for Muhammad to train our men, because they had those attitudes. Wasn't nobody running up on Nation of Islam dudes. White people stayed the fuck away. They stayed away. It was us with those attitudes in the South going around figuring out who joined the union and threatening them to get out. So now our politicians connected and spoke with the other politicians in the other states to make Indian housing in the cities so we could go there for refuge. We were the first ones to get this damn refuge, pushed up our lands into the cities, Indian public housing, because we were threatened by our own people. You're leaving out who the Confederates were. Confederate soldiers were. They were our ancestors too. But our other ancestors fought against them. So it was war between families. It's a straight up nigga war. A few white guys are not going to be fighting like that in no fucking civil war, man. It wasn't enough of them here yet. Not yet. There's a lot of them here, but not enough. We're putting a lot of blame on the wrong people. And this is where we got to fix things and correct things. So I say that because now that I just spoke about that, I want you to begin to start thinking with an open mind, clearing your head. Because the more you clear your head, the more you could see what actually took place in those times, just based on us as a people and how did we come to hate each other so much. It started back then. We had the Indian wars, our little wars and our family fights. We still even have our fights in the hoods like we always had for years. One side of town against another side of town. And we don't even know why the fuck we're fighting like this or why we hate each other. So why we have such animosity with each other. And when we begin to sit down and think and understand your mother's era's life, okay, your mom, no matter what era you were born in, keep going back. You got too much work to do to be in YouTube threatening each other, because we're all learning our history because it was taught to us as a lie. So now when you're doing your genealogy, you got too much work to be doing. Too much. Let me pull up the generational thing so before I even get into my slides. Oh, where is it? There we go. So now I did this based on just ha-has. So if you were born in the 80s, you know your era. Then your mother is being born in the 60s. You got to study that era of what was going on. And like, and then you study, Latoya got to study Bunny's era. Then she got to go and see what the hell was going on in her grandmother's era in the 40s. Then she got to go and understand what the hell was going on in history in her great granny's history. Then she got to go and understand what the hell was going on in great grandma's history in 1900s. Then she got to go and see what was going on in 1870s. Then she got to understand what was going on in 1837. You know, this is in order to understand why the hell she is here in the northern states. When she goes back, she's down south in the 1800s. What the hell happened? So she got to start working her way back, right? And then read history forward and understand why you're where you are and how your family ended up hating each other so much. Because Rebecca, you know, she was born, the Civil War was in 1861. And when you pull up this timeline, let's see. Oh, I know it's in here. I always go past it. Here we go. She got to go back and say, what the hell? She got to look at the timeline. What was going on? What the hell? Spanish invasion. What happened to my ancestors? All right. I'm in 1878. What the hell was going on? Oh, my granny was removed and they shit happened. So right here, then Civil War, then Reconstruction, then Walter Plecker, then civil rights, then all these different religions. They got to study what happened. Why do I came from, I got pushed from here. I got pushed. What happened? Oh, the Civil War. My family's, my third generation. Let's go back to it. Civil War, 1861. So now, let me go back and get the other one. Let me go and get it. $1861. Oh, my grandma Rebecca and she was little, and they had the Civil War. So my great grandma's uncles, Becca's uncles, was fighting. Some of my great grandma uncles, was on the side of the South, and some of them on the side of the Union. So I must have been on the family part of my family that was on the side of the Union, because I'm way down here in the northern states now. I ain't in South Carolina no more. You got to read history. But my other cousins and them stayed because they was part of the Confederates. They wasn't the ones being pushed off their lands in the South, not the Black Confederates. It was the ones that joined the Union. So now do you understand where I'm coming from? Give me a 1. Hey, Anthony. Hey, y'all. Smash that like button, y'all. So, that being said, we'll do a lot of this in Zoom where because there's certain things we can't say on YouTube, and that's clear. But this is something we can openly talk about. So, that being said, I want to get into how and one of the major reasons why our people are easily influenced and very quickly to be deceived. But Rodney, I was trying to time out Rob Noxious and timed you out. So hopefully Ad Power fixed it. Okay. So let's get into those slides, y'all, because it has a lot to do with our education. And it's sad. Very sad. So let me get the slides up there. They should already be up. All right. All right. So we're going to go from the beginning. Oh, I hate when that happens. Okay, here we go. So, and this is going to how I'm moving forward so we can understand our people, whether they're in the North, the South, the Midwest, or the West Coast. Reading the numbers, 130 million American adults have literacy skills, but funding differs drastically by state. Now, I always start off with giving definitions based on 1828 dictionary. I could do, etymology, but in some instances, it's just really not necessary. But ethnic defined, it's an adjective. Okay. And it's a Latin for ethnicus, Greek from nation, from the root of G, Heidi, Heath, Woods, whence heathen. All right. So what it means is a heathen. Ethnic really literally meant a heathen, a pagan, pertaining to the Gentiles or nations not converted to Christianity, opposed to Jewish and Christian. Ethnic as a noun means a heathen, a pagan. So when we as Indians didn't convert to Christianity, our ethnic, we were heathen. That's how they talk about us. And they still kind of do that, judge us. If we're not in the church, oh, they're out in the street in the world. They just ain't saying heathen this time now. But they have the pagan. Yeah. Now, ethnicity defined. The quality or fact of belonging to a population group or subgroup made up of people who share a common cultural background or descent. That's what ethnicity means. Now, categories for race and ethnicity. Now, and I want you to open your head and understand this. The minimum categories for data on race and ethnicity for federal statistics, program administrative reporting, and civil rights compliance reporting are defined by OMB as follows. You have American Indian or an Alaska Native. You have Asian, Black, or African American, Hispanic or Latino, Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, or white. Now, as a people and as young people, at least when our parents, like my parents, were born in the mid 40s to the late 40s, okay, Black and African American were not any choices on race and ethnicity. They were. They did not have Black or African American in the 1940s or 30s or 20s or 1800 as a selection for race and ethnicity. They had either colored or Negro. There was never Black written on any birth certificates of our ancestors. Seriously. Birth certificates, and depending on what state you're in, didn't come out till after the what, 1908. So, and we as a people, it was either colored, Indian, white, or Negro. Yeah. There was no Asian. There was no Hispanic or Latino. There was no Native Hawaiian, but there was white. There was only white, Negro, colored, back when our ancestors were born, our great grannies. And I'm talking all the way back 1800s, 1700s. All you seen was white, Indian, and Negro and colored. They had like 3 different races for these Indians. And isn't this something else? When you look back, we didn't have Native Hawaiian or on any paperwork back in the 1800s, 1700s. And that's a fact. Give me a minute, you guys. I need a little break. Thank you, everyone, for being so patient. I drink so much water. All right. So I want you, when you're, now, why is this showing? Oh, when you're doing your genealogy or getting it done, what I want you, what I want you to do as part of raising our standards, what we have to do is focus on ourselves and not other races and cultures. It does us no good to focus on other races and cultures. And that's a fact. If we're looking into our own history here on the American soil, we cannot focus on other races and cultures. We can't. We just need to focus on who we are. So, that being said, when we're doing our genealogy as a people, you're going to know some very interesting things that really stand out. And one of the biggest things is our identity as a people. And you're going to learn that the word Black or African American were not terminologies used as you go back in time. You're going to learn. And you're also going to find the Indian, Aborigine. You are. So what you really have to do is what I have to do as a lecturer and working together with you, my people, is we have to clear our heads from two things: indoctrination history, indoctrination, and Reconstruction history. Y'all got that? Give me a 1 or 2. 1. Give me a 1. We have to clear our heads from indoctrination of our history and reconstruction of our history. Indoctrination of our history was a story developed and placed on us as a people. Reconstruction history is inserting an identifier. Black being the first reconstructed thing that was placed on us. Okay? So this is what we have to focus on. Clearing our heads of indoctrination and clearing our heads of reconstruction events and things. And one of the first reconstruction things that happened to the people that look like you and me, we became Black on reconstructed records. Reconstructed records as a people. That is the biggest crime in United States history, when they reconstructed records that they say were burned and destroyed, which is a complete lie. Give me a 1 if you understand Reconstruction records is a huge, it is so detrimental. You became Black on reconstructed records. Because if they're reconstructed records, you have to understand these are records you never seen. You never seen the records before they were reconstructed. Understand this. Structured records is information inserted on records, supposedly reflecting what was there prior when it wasn't. How do you know that you were identified as Black before Reconstruction? That's not true. It just didn't happen. Because in 1868, you were coloreds, senators, and representatives. You became coloreds. Let's go there. Let's go there. This is why I said you got to clear your heads from reconstructed records. You were reconstructed. 1872, you were coloreds. You also were senators and representatives. So you know you weren't Black. You know your Nana wasn't called Blacks on the 1900 census. They couldn't have been, because in 1872, your uncle, who was a senator, was listed as colored on an official primary resource. November 27th, 1872. So how did you become a Black when your uncle, who's a senator, was a colored which is part of a word of a description of people in the dictionary. Copper-colored races. Understand this. We must move forward and get rid of Reconstruction and the changing of records. They told you the years of the records that were reconstructed, starting with the 1790 census, reconstructed records. So if 1790 was reconstructed, that means 1800 was reconstruction, 1810, 1820, 1830, 1840, 1850, 1860, 1870, 1880 censuses were all reconstructed. All of them were reconstructed records. Because remember, the British soldiers marched in to DC and burned a lot of records, a lot of those records. That's why they created the 1790 census. And those records were burned. That's why they had to reconstruct them and put B on them. They went all the way back to 1790. And every census record from 1790 all the way up to 1850, 60, 70, 80. Yeah, they went back and put black on the census sheets. Now, give me a minute. I'm going to stop sharing. Give me a minute. I'm going to look something up. I got to look this up for you guys and share it with you. And don't pay any mind to anyone that's speaking negatively in the chat. They're doing their jobs. So you don't even have to block them. Because what we're teaching, it's really hurting them. Now. All righty. Let's see. Oh, where did it go? Oh, here it is right here. Duh. Reconstruction records. Let's see. I'm looking for it, you guys. I think I might have something up that better explains. Okay. No, I don't think that's a good one. Let's go to the here. Lived in the U.S. This is something perfect. Okay, now comprehension. Let's go. Got it. Here we go, you guys. Now, here's the a prime example of what I'm talking about with our when it comes to our education and anything. Can you guys see this? Oh, why is this showing? My goodness. I'm getting really pissed. Oh, you can see it. Okay. I'm going to just put this down for a minute. All right. Where's my peeps? There y'all go. Oh. Okay. So now I don't know why this won't get bigger for me. Jeez. Let me try to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, the 1810. Okay. I'll start here. 1810 census. Now, here we go. I'll read it. Now, look at this. It says, the official, and I want you to pay attention. This is where you have to pay attention. The official enumeration day of the 1810 census was August 6, 1810. All questions asked were supposed to refer to that date. The enumerator was to be completed within 9 months, and the due date was extended by law to 10 months. Schedules exist for 17 states and District of Columbia, Georgia Territory, Mississippi Territory, Louisiana Territory, Orleans. It was called Orleans. They ain't even put new in there. Michigan Territory and Illinois Territory. There was, however, a district-wide loss for District of Columbia, Georgia, Indiana Territory, Mississippi Territory, Louisiana Territory, New Jersey, and Tennessee. Partial losses include Illinois Territory, which had only 2 counties. Randolph is extant. St. Clair is lost. And Ohio. All lost except Washington County. Some of these schedules for these states have been, listen, recreated using tax lists and other records. Recreated. Now, enumerators of the 1810 census were asked to include the following categories in the census: name of head of household, number of free white males and females in age categories, 0 to 10, 10 to 16, 16 to 26, 26 to 45, and older. Number of other free persons, except Indians not taxed. Number of slaves, and town or district and county of residence. Now, here's the question I need to ask you. Where it says number of free persons except Indians not taxed and number of slaves, are you to assume that the slaves are the brown people under white people? Are you to assume that and believe it based on what you were taught in history? Or does it make sense that white people were the slaves for white people? Are you to assume that those slaves are black people or our people? Because they're not giving you a, they would have been very clear on here. Give me a yes or a no. Remember, these are recreated records. Are you to assume just ordinarily, oh yeah, the brown people, they was the slave? Or are you to clearly understand that that Indian is the Negro that fought in the Civil War and did not fight on the side of the Confederate, because that Negro was in office making laws? Are you to assume that that Indian, who do you think that Indian is? They didn't even mention black people. Said slaves. This is where I said there's two things that you have to get rid of out of your head. Black didn't come into place until the records were reconstructed. Always remember that. You didn't have a black senator in 1872. You had a colored senator. Reconstructed records made that Indian black, because right here you're not listing the Indian because the Indian's not taxed. And you better believe that that's that colored person. You better believe it. If there was another race or color of people, they would have listed. They would have also listed Chinese people, Japan, Asians, all this on these instructions on the 1810. There is no other race listed here. Listen to me, y'all. The only people that are listed here is Indians and white people. No Asians, no Japanese, no Hawaiians, no Latins, just Indians and white people. I'm going to tell you right now, like I'm telling you like a big mama's supposed to. Get rid of indoctrination and Reconstruction out of your heads now. This is why I want you to look at this, so that it helps you to get Reconstruction record thinking out your head, as well as indoctrination out your head. Right now. Bombing it out your head. I'm bombing it out your head. The only race of people here in 1810, whites and Indians. We helped them work their lands as Indians because we knew our soil. They couldn't do it. We had the tools. We had everything. And you better believe that that's your race back then. Who else was not taxed? Just the Indian. They're only talking about two races of people. They're not talking about give me a 1 if you clearly understand this in 1810. I need to know that you understand this. I'm getting rid of indoctrination and Reconstruction shit out your head. If you're thinking black, you're thinking Reconstruction record. No. I want to see ones in the chat. Come on, y'all. It's 1,000 of y'all up in here watching. Good. All right. Now that you know exactly what it's saying, slaves is employment. So you're going to employ them damn Indians. You're going to help give them help. The Indians are helping them, and they're slaving too. There's no Asians. There's no Japan. There's no Hispanic or no Latino. There's no Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander. Yo, understand this. Oh, I got a jealous hater in here. All right. So, moving on. Let's stop sharing. So now let's go here. I want to pull something up. All this Reconstruction stuff. Okay. Okay. Do. All right, now I'm going to show you something now. Uh-oh. I must have did something wrong here. All right, let's try it now. Oh, come on. This is really sucky. Oh, no wonder. Oh, all right, now we going. I was putting it in the wrong place. God damn it. I'm so sick of this mess. Here we go. My goodness. Nope. Jeez. All right. It's taking me a minute, you guys, because I'm looking for something. And it's giving me the hardest damn time. I've never. All right, let's try another one. Let's just try this. The hell. All right. I think this will do it. Oh, you know, they're really, really trying me today. Really trying me. Okay, here we go. Here we go. More like it. Now, look at this. This is Reconstruction Records. Now check this out, you guys. Check this out. Look at here now. Look at this. This is in Alabama. Look, black, 1890. You were not a black in 1890. These are Reconstruction records. Reconstruction. Now look, I'm going to show you something. Just so you will see. Look at here. Now, look at their database. What does it say for race? Let me see if I can see y'all. Look at there. Reconstruction. Colored, in parentheses, black. Ethel Williams was 4 years old. How about that? When I tell you, get rid of the Reconstruction mind. That's what you got to get rid of. Structured mind. It's a hot mess. So I'm gonna stop that because that I just want you to begin getting away from indoctrination and Reconstruction minds. Because back then, just a few census sheets earlier was just the Indian, and that's all it was speaking about back then. No Africans written on no census sheets in our history. Correct, Shirley. Correct. Correct. As long as I can get you guys to get rid of the indoctrination and Reconstruction mindset, these ain't British records. And let not a coincidence and them and Shay One suffer because this is killing them. But just watch what befalls of them. Because this really hurts. It really hurts bad. So let us get back to our sheets, census. No, I'm sorry, to our slides. My bad. Now, here we go. Well, we got 1,026 watching. Y'all smash that like button. So now we'll move on. Now, the reason why our people, we Indians, are easily persuaded is because of our ancestors. It's because of our ancestors, you guys. It really is. Their education. And I want you to understand this because this hurts. And even back on our census sheet, it told we've been so uneducated. A lot. They hurt our people. In 2016, the percentage of adults age, and this ain't got nothing to do with race, a lot of us, adults ages 25 and older who had not completed high school was highest for. Hispanic adults, 33%. American Indian, 17%. Black adults, 15%. Asian adults, 13%. Pacific Islander adults, 13%. Adults of two or more races, 9%. And white adults, 8%. Now, what I want you to understand here, you always had a choice. Always had a choice to select your race. Always. You just didn't know it. You know it as an adult. The doctor is always going to put based on what he observed. But you always have a right to correct your race. Going forward, you must check off who you are. You can even put other. If you prefer to say Aborigine, in the other box, you just check other and you write in Aborigine. If you want that Indian, you check off American Indian. Always remember that. That's right, Empress. Nationwide, on an average, 79% of U.S. adults are literate in 2022. 21% of adults in the U.S. are illiterate. 2022. 54% of adults have a literacy below 6th grade level. That's more than half. 21% of Americans 18 and older are illiterate in 2022. Low literacy rates ending up costing Americans up to $2.2 trillion every year. 34% of the people 18 and older with low literacy proficiency weren't born in the United States. This is why it's so easy to influence our people in YouTube with scams, paperwork, making them believe it. They feel this person can read and talk really good. They know what they're talking about. That's an unfortunate educational decision. And we are at war with our own people, pressuring our people to do the things they do in YouTube with their social security cards and birth certificate. The state with the highest rate of child literacy is Massachusetts, with over 80% of kids there having good proficiency in reading. New Mexico has the lowest literacy rate for children, with over 30% of the state's children being illiterate. New Hampshire has the most people 18 and older that are literate, with over 90% of them knowing how to read and write. California has the lowest literacy rate in the country, with 23% of them having to no proficiency in reading skills. Throughout the US, there were 66% of children in the fourth grade couldn't read well in 2013. And this is from Sandra Kraft. She did this in November 2016, 2023. U.S. Literacy statistics. On average, 79% of adults nationwide are literate in 2023. 21% of adults in the U.S. are illiterate in 2023. 54% of adults have a literacy below a sixth grade level. 20% are below fifth grade level. Low levels of literacy cost the U.S. up to $2.2 trillion per year. 34% of adults lacking literacy proficiency were born outside the U.S. And we already read, about Massachusetts, New Mexico, and New Hampshire. On average, nationwide, 66% of fourth grade children in the U.S. could not read proficiency in 2013. So, got that. Emily Smith says about 130 million adults in the U.S. have low literacy skills, according to a Gallup analysis of the data from the U.S. Department of Education. This means that more than half of Americans between the ages of 16 and 74, 54%, read below the equivalent of a sixth grade level. Just horrible. Literacy is broadly defined as the ability to read and write, but it more accurately encompasses the comprehension, evaluation, and utilization of information, which is why people describe many different types of literacy, such as health, financial, legal, etc. Low literacy skills can profoundly affect the day-to-day success of adults in the real world, and these impacts extend to their families too. Dr. Iris Feinberg, Associate Director of the Adult Literacy Research Center at Georgia State University, said anyone can have low literacy skills. It's just not who are poor. It's not just people who are racial minorities. It's not just people who speak funny because they're from the South. See that stereotype? They think people from the South speak funny. No, that's our accent. It literally can be anybody, she said. Historically, adult literacy has been underfunded and underrepresented in academic and scientific research, according to Feinberg, and a sentiment echoed by Dr. Margaret Patterson, a senior researcher at Research Allies for Lifelong Learning. Why America lost so many of its black teachers before 1964. Okay, this is before I was born. Nearly half of college educated Negroes in the South were teachers. July marks the 55th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act, which outlawed discrimination on the basis of race, color. Look at how color is spelled, you guys. Religion, sex, or national origin. It it also enforced desegregation of the government-run school system nationwide, largely ending the practice of educational apartheid. But while desegregation transformed America's education system, the way it was implemented by discriminatory school boards in the South was harmful to black teachers. A new paper by Owen Thompson, an economist at Williams College, shows there was a dramatic decline in employment of African American teachers in the aftermath of desegregation. See how they're using three different words? So they use Negro, all in this one, black and African American. But she's writing from today. You've seen when she wrote this. The policies behind the decline have contributed to lower employment for African American educators in the decades since. In 1954, the Supreme Court ruled in the case of Brown versus Board of Education that in the field of public education, the doctrine of separate but equal has no place. 10 years later, less than 5% of black children in the southern states of the former Confederacy were attending school with whites. The Civil Rights Act, which among other enforcement mechanisms tied federal education funding to school integration, dramatically changed that. By 1970, more than 90% of black children attended schools that also taught white children. So, with this being said, I say this to my people that you must become the chief of your family. You must. You must establish your individual family tribes. It's so important. So important. My first for the year Zoom meeting is going to be on Sunday, January 14th at 6 Eastern, which makes it 5 Central Time and 3 o'clock Pacific. In order to be in that Zoom class, you have to register on our website. And when you do, you either put you want to reestablish your family tribe, you want to learn about it, or you want genealogy, or you want to open your own business. You have to put it so we know how to categorize it. That's the only way you're going to get the Zoom link is by you registering. If you're already registered with us, please don't put your name on there again. Duplicates are horrifying. And you can also invite any of your family members to the Zoom meeting. You can share the link with your family and friends, because I will be lecturing about it. We're not just going to go in there and start the family tribe. You got to learn what the individual family tribe is about. Facts. I guess I could put this down now. And remember, the slides will always be on our website. Let me get this down here. What in the hell? Oh, there it is. So I'm going to put the link in the chat. And I would love for anybody to come up and vibe. Okay. So I'm going to put the link in the chat and give you a minute so that you can tell me now if your head's going to start working in the direction of getting indoctrination and Reconstruction information out your head. Okay. So I give you a minute to get on up here. Smash the like button, and I will wait. Just hang in the back until I get back. I'm giving you a little while to get up here. I want your feedback. questions? No questions? No? No questions? No questions? I'm here. The link is in the chat. You know what? I'm actually going to pin it to the top so I don't have to keep putting it in here. There it is. So now it's pinned to the top. What do you think? Oh, Straight Smoke is coming. You know Straight Smoke's butt was coming. He always got a question or a statement. Oh, there he is. I see you. I'm getting ready to let you. Anybody can join. Hey, Straight Smoke.
Hey, how's it going, Sister Bethy?
Pretty good, brother. How's it going?
Man, I'm just loving every bit of it. Yet again, we have to reestablish there was only
You're
two.
welcome, Empress friend. Huh?
We have to remember there was only two on this land.
Yeah.
It was only two.
Unbelievable, right?
No, it's not unbelievable because it was right in plain sight.
Yeah, pretty much. A hot mess.
Which was done purposely so.
Yeah, Reconstruction. They have to get the Reconstruction out of their head. And, you know, it's something else.
You know
You
what
should
really stood
feel
out to me?
observing the facts with success. He said, I feel offended. Yeah, your question. What do you feel offended about? You can hit the link and come up and share. So go ahead on Straight Smoke. We
You know what
vibing
really
today.
you know what really stood out to me more than anything? You was considered a heathen unless you was of Jewish or Christian faith.
I didn't even know that that's what ethnic meant.
Yep. Yes. I just need
I did
everybody
not.
to
I did not
soak
know
that
that
in.
ethnic meant heathen and pagan.
Yes. And ain't that the pot calling the kettle black on some paganism?
That's a hot mess. We know where it comes from. And when they're talking about this African American and it's saying people that are of descent or share this common whatever it said, common, I forgot what the hell it said. Let me see. It said common. Let me go back to it. For ethnic. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it said it was under the dash. Yeah, where it said that the quality or fact of belonging to a population group or subgroup made up of people who share a common cultural background or descent. And with that definition, we don't share a common culture or background with Africans.
Nope.
Who we share a common cultural background with is Indians.
And
That's who we share the common. If we're here and it's whites and black on this soil, let's just use modern words, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's none all those other races that we mentioned, Asians, Japan, we're not here. It was just Europeans and copper colored people. Who do we share the cultural background and descent with? We share it with the Indians. There's nobody else to compare us with because we're the only two race of people here. So the only people we can share that common culture and background with is the Indians, because that's who we are. Their story is our story. What happened to them happened to us.
Can I take it a
Indians
step further?
weren't brought from Africa here to serve as slaves. We share their story. You got it.
I'm gonna take it a step further because this is the narrative spun by colonialists, expansionists. So if these people went to different lands and seen other people, then came here, they automatically associated you in their culture of what they've already experienced. That's all it
George,
is.
yeah. George, what you
Oh,
said. Let me ask, where does the swarthy Europeans come in on this? Well, on the census sheets, it never mentioned or list swarthy as an identifier or European. Those two words weren't used on the census sheet. So I don't know. I'm, I don't know, George. That's a good question. Alfie, is that you? I can't see you. Oh, okay. Got you. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, it's me. Yeah, I've been fine, just been working.
So what's going on?
Man, listen, I just love you to death because you hit it right on the nail with the census. I never understood why my great grandfather had to found these two churches because it was a thing where they had to submit to Christianity.
mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then I didn't understand why, like the elders kept telling me, I was like, this book don't make sense. Why we gotta study this book? And they kept saying it's best to drink a muddy water than no water at all. That's all they kept saying.
Wow.
So I never
Wow.
took it seriously because the way they taught it to me. They say
Wow.
just regurgitate whatever and just keep doing what we doing.
Wow.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. It was crazy. And then I still go back because they still have everything in place. And I never understood why they had everything in place. But then when I went to other states, because I bounce around a lot, it was different. It was just different. The jurisdictions, how they set up the counties, it's like every time that they charged you like property taxes, it was because you allowed them to run water under your land. So they charging you for that pipe, the usage of the pipe, the usage of the electric, the usage of everything that they bought on your land.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Just
Yep.
off the hook.
So you did have you questioned the fact that they had to go along with the book. Could you elaborate on that for me?
For me, I didn't really never understand until like my great uncle, which is my mom's uncle. He just passed like last year, God rest his soul.
I'm sorry.
He told me a lot. He was like, a lot of times they had to just conform to some things because a lot of the family did move up north.
Right.
Because you know, my uncles, I ain't gonna lie, they had like 20 kids.
Yep.
Yeah.
My uncle had a wife, and then he had a girlfriend down the street, and all the kids, we all knew about each other. We fought all the time, but yeah, that mess was crazy. I just didn't understand it. You know, they had their own farm. Even like I noticed with my uncle and my aunt, they had a farm, right? They didn't get them no funding, and then they got mad at them because they would not do their farm the way they wanted them to do it. So then they came in and they tried to say, well, they got Alzheimer's dementia. I got mad at the family because I'm like, they ain't got Alzheimer's dementia. This don't sound right. They took him to the nursing home
Wow.
and then tried to take the land, but it didn't work because the fifth generation grandfather already put all that stuff in a trust. He put it all in a trust.
Smart man.
Yes, very smart. I mean, and me sitting up here, I mean, that's why I love you and Dane so much, because I would have never gathered understanding. I'm still gathering understanding on Dag. Well, okay, what to do next?
I
Okay, what
think
to
you
do
might
next?
have a YouTube window open.
Oh God, let me see. I don't think so.
1 2 1 2. Yeah, you gotta close YouTube. Exit out.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, but that stuff was crazy.
Yeah,
I
we
just, you know,
gotta.
he even was saying they had this thing where they was paying people $5 to cut off the head of
Wow,
Papua Indians. I'm mad at my
wow.
cousins because he had all these records, right?
Uh-huh.
And when he died, because I'm not his child, his kids threw all that stuff away. I was like, what is wrong with y'all?
Damn.
Wow.
Those are some deep records, man.
Wow.
I mean, it kills me that they don't care nothing about their history, but I understand what happened. See, in North Carolina, they started dumping all them drugs and stuff, and a lot of man, listen,
Wow.
they got on them drugs, and that was that, you know.
Yeah. That's pretty much across the 50 states, love.
Yep.
And that's a fact. That is a
Yeah,
fact.
and that's our biggest issue because you can't tell high people nothing. They know everything. They'll
Yeah,
argue you down. And then when you do stuff, they want to be a part of it, but then they disrupt everything. So that's where your division come in at.
that's correct. And that's what I find a lot that goes on. Oh, there goes my thing. Has to do with the lighting. It's dulling out. I don't know why it always does this. I hate when it happens. But yes, that is a big factor to being high. And I noticed that happens in YouTube a lot when you smoking weed and you're drinking beer. It triggers your temper, and that's when the fighting comes in. So a lot of that goes on our YouTube channels. I don't know why it's doing this. So I'm trying this year. My resolution is to just lecture and not deal with the people that come in the chat like not a coincidence is Shay's son. We can totally ignore them because this bothers them. It bothers them, and the Pan African movement. Where we don't need to worry about them anymore. What we need to do is just move forward and move beyond them.
And just keep, buying land and setting up things. And I'm just so happy that, my dad, he guided me to nursing. So I do nursing, which is why I don't have a lot of time. Most of the time, I just be doing nursing.
Yep,
And I'm just going to be setting up ALFs because basically I'm going to end up having to staff that just so I can take care of the nutbags because they not going to get off drugs. And I can't change what they do, but I can make sure they're okay.
You can treat them, sister. You can treat them.
Yep, I can sit here and make sure they okay. And when they finish acting stupid, just keep loving on them.
right.
Can do.
So what I did, chat, was I put the link in the chat room for our website. I'm gonna pin it to the top in a minute. Like I said, does it go up yet? Jeez, where is it? Peace, Arnil Bay. Hey, Copper Aborigines, T. Cortez. The link is to our website. It's in the chat room. I'm going to pin it to the top here. Okay. I pinned it to the top. If you want to be in that class, starting your family tribe, we're not just going to go into, you got to learn about what it's all about because it requires work. And you could hit the link and sign yourself up on the distribution list. You go on our website and you sign yourself up. You have to leave your name, your email address, whatever information it asks you to be on the list. So we can send you the link. You will not get the link invite if your name is not registered on a distribution list. Because I'm not going to be picking up the phone calling people saying, hey, nope. I'm going to email out one email for everyone to come into the Zoom link. And it's the date is mm,
The 14th.
oh, okay, yep, the 14th at 6 Eastern. The 14th at 6 Eastern. Oh, this damn thing is driving me nuts. There it is. Now it's fixed. Finally. It's the 14th. So hey, T Cortez. And you take the link. If you want to share it with friends or associates, they can come too. They'll get it the link from you. That's the only way they're going to get it unless they go on our website and sign up. And it's going to be great. I like to have like at least 50 to 100 people at a time. That way I could do it 3 times a month. I don't want 300 people. If I get 300 people, I'm going to split it up where in groups of 100. That way it's more comfortable for me to have 100 people at a time than 300. But if it's like 150 people, that's fine. But when it gets to 300, no, it's too much. And it needs to be split because people are going to have questions. Okay. So you can immediately go on our site, put your name there. If your name is on our distribution list, you will get the link. Link, please. Are you in here, LP?
Yes, I am. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh, because somebody you wrote in
Yeah,
the
I want
chat
to
and
do the
said
link.
link.
That's me.
The link is pinned to the top.
It's showing the yard thing. I'm doing it on my phone.
You have to. Hey, Cosmos, the link is in the regular YouTube chat.
Okay.
I'll put it in the back private chat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there it is, right there. It's in the private chat. You guys hit the like button. We got 950 people in this piece. Um, so you can you got it in the private chat.
That's what I'm trying to see. I'm messing with my phone that did it. Because if I mess with it over here, it'll disrupt the live.
Well, if you up here with us,
All right,
just
there it
go ahead.
is.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I
It's in
see
the
it.
chat.
Okay, I got it.
So go sign your name up. So anything else? Okay, it's open topic now. Anybody want to talk about anything? But I'm going to stress to you, you need to be your chief. If nobody in the family is going to do it, you need to do it. Don't worry about the people in your family. You be the chief. That's what you have to do. You need to be the chief and get it established. It requires work. If you're not a person that likes to work, don't even bother. We The focus is to remove ourselves from worrying about other races of people and what they're doing. The focus needs to be on what are you going to do, and if you're going to do something, do it. Don't just sit on it. Some people just sit there, and it has a lot to do with education levels and things of that nature. And if you don't want to do it, then you should join someone's tribe that's trustworthy. You have to make sure you trust the person.
Correct. I love everything that you put out like this. You know, this gives a good, clean, solid look of the miseducation of not just one, all people. Because there's
Correct.
a lot of people who believe this.
Yeah.
And subsequently, it's a lie. It's a bold-faced lie. And just like we talk on other platforms, this is them tethering us to something that is not us.
Facts.
I can add to the miseducation because I was getting paddled every 3 to 4 days.
Yeah, I
It
remember
was,
they had the
it was,
battle in school.
yeah,
My parents
man.
didn't play
They
that.
was tearing my butt up, man.
My mother didn't play that. You couldn't do that to us. Not up here in the north. They'd stop that quick in the schools here.
Man,
Man,
y'all
that
was
mess
getting
was
paddled. Y'all was
crazy.
getting the old
But that
old
was that shit that was brought from the South, though, because that's why a lot of the shit in the South, they wanted to stop because of the beatings.
Yeah,
Beating
so they moved me
ass,
to Ohio just so I wouldn't be in that mess. That's why I was back and forth a lot.
the
Yeah,
beatings
because
in the
I was
South from our
always in
families and our parents were terribly abusive.
terribly abusive.
trouble.
I ain't gonna lie
Beating
to you,
your
Sister Betty. I
Yeah,
got
it
the
is.
iron
That's
cord once.
abuse. Yeah, the
Ooh,
extension
talk
cord.
about
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying
it.
to tell you.
Abusive. That's why they made laws. Them shits could kill you. Little kids getting beat with extension cords and um switches from the tree.
Switches,
That's abusive.
tear your skin apart.
Yeah, that's why I
Mhm.
said you got to open your mind and think wisely why they wanted to dismantle and stop a lot of shit in the South, man.
Man,
Our
listen.
parents, I'm glad I wasn't born in them days. I probably would have put my parent in the tree, hanging and swinging, because it's abusive. It's bad. And a lot of our people, they even teach you that in the Bible to beat your kid.
Yep.
Fuck that.
And that's
Nope.
what I have to go back to
Mm-mm.
the same thing again. You were considered a heathen if you were not about Christianity or being a Jew.
Yep, and that's why he built the church. I straight didn't understand that. I was like, oh my goodness. You
Yeah.
know, it was deep. And then look, I believe they killed his parents. I really do because you ain't got no record of their parents.
Mhm.
No records of his
A lot
parents.
of us that can't find our ancestors on particular census sheets, they probably were killed in the Revolutionary War. I mean, not revolutionary. Well, the Revolutionary War too, but for the most part, the Civil War. A lot of our ancestors were killed in the Revolutionary War. That's a fact. We were warring, and when they tell you that you're, when you look up on the registration cards uh, for the service in the militias, and they tell you that your ancestor died. It was for war during the Civil War. A lot of our great grandpas died in that Civil War
And you know the one
fighting.
thing that they never listed? The casualties of war, the people that was inflicted by the war
Yeah.
that got killed.
You
It
want
was
to
a
you
lot
want to
going on.
elaborate on that a little bit for us?
So it's always been documented of all these wars. So everyone knows within the war, there are always some people that's not involved in anything that becomes a casualty of war. People get killed inadvertently because of a war. Those people are not documented, especially in that time. So I don't believe that it was just that they was just, one on one. It could have been that they could have went through any state and just said either you're with us or against us, and just plowed you down if you said against.
Yeah.
You have to. I really want people to. I really, Sister Bethy, I get what you're saying wholeheartedly. I mean, my whole heart. And when you're in war, you're not thinking about saving anything. Only thing you're thinking about is being alive.
Yeah. I can imagine. I can't even imagine being in that war zone and that civil war. I'm glad I wasn't alive.
But you do understand what I'm driving at, though, right? Because those casualties of war that is not in either army, those people could have been killed just because they was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Are you for the Union or against the Union? Are you an Indian? How many people didn't want to say that they was an Indian?
That's what my uncle said. He said you better not say nothing about no darn Indian. Yeah, straight up. He straight said that. He said no, can't even say that.
So that right there lets us all know, right there, that lets us all know that that was the mentality at that time. You better not adhere to your heritage. Oh no, you will be killed.
That's why I didn't like this whole Palestinian thing, because it almost felt like my ancestors was crying to me through their situation where Israel just trying to massacre them because they was all kids, and
Well,
I
you
was
gotta it was brother against brother, family against family. A lot of our Southerners joined the Union, and they're the ones that did join the Union from the South. They ran to the North when the Confederates found out who they were that joined the Union. And what they started doing was holding holding Union soldiers. The Confederates would grab about 20 Union soldiers, and the Union would grab about 10. It was tick for tat. 10 Confederate soldiers. And it could have been your relatives.
What makes me believe sometimes in some of these depictions that we were seeing of let's just say of black folks hanging from trees. Who's to say that that wasn't a Union soldier or a
Say that
defective from
again.
the South?
Say that again.
Who's to say that some of these depictions that we've been seeing over time of black folks in trees and all of this other stuff being hung and all that, who's to say that these wasn't defectives, runaways that wanted to join the Union, but they
That's
got
what I'm
caught?
trying to tell you what happened.
Yeah.
And see, you see these horrific pictures of families being burned, the ones that Saint Etta was showing. And the first thought, oh, white people did this. No, it was war. These were people who were they were finding out who was on from the South on the side joining the Union.
What team you on?
Yeah, it's just like a damn gang. That's what gang members do.
Yep.
Right, Mr. Vignotti. It's like politics. That's exactly what it is. Half our families are Republicans, the other half Democrats, etc. That's probably how the Union and Confederate decisions were made back then. Yeah,
That's exactly what it
that's
was.
exactly what it was.
It's exactly what it was.
Yeah. I mean, they just blamed all the horrific pictures and stories on white people. And I just, for the life of me, can't, now that we're mature in our minds and we can research and think, use our common sense, and knowing just by these statistics that there weren't that many white people here yet, just the colonials. And they only had particular areas in these 13 states, what are now states. So we can't keep blaming this shit on white people like this. It was us.
So I'm gonna take Tennessee.
I remember one day this white guy told me, he came in my chat room and he said, because it was you. And he was serious. And I just blanked out for a minute when he said it and didn't even think and dawn. And now I know what he meant. He said, because it was you. See, they understand the Civil War. We were told about it in a lying manner, like what you call muddy waters.
Mm-hmm.
All this time, we're taught and led to believe that angry white men came here and did this to us. And it's a fucking lie. Ooh, you might got to mute. I don't know what you're doing. I muted you. But yeah. So this is why I said we really need to wake up and smell the coffee.
But that same sentiment reigns stronger today. Still the same thing reigns stronger today in what Mr. Vengotti said. Some families had Republican, the other half was Democrat. Guess what's going on right now today?
Same thing.
Same thing.
And, when he said that, he said, because it was you. We are the ones who got them to join us.
Whose property was it first?
Exactly.
Whose property was it first? They didn't know how to till no ground over here. They wasn't from here. They ain't know how to eat. Them people came over here, they was damn near dead. They didn't know this land. We had to teach them. So for you to assume that
we're way forward though. We're way forward though, Straight Smoke. We're in 1861.
I know it. There's no way that population of people could have ever succumbed the people that was already there. There is no way.
Yeah.
You talking about 25 people to 1,500?
Mm-hmm.
Just in one, let's just say one county, or something of that magnitude, small magnitude. It's not possible.
Mm-hmm. It's wild. It's wild. That's why I always say that we wasn't, at least our men, chiefs, we weren't all these humble, innocent people. We did bad shit back then and we doing it still today.
Poof. Apple don't fall too far from the tree.
For every crime there is, we did too. We are not blameless from none of this shit. There was blacks and whites wanting to get out of the Southern lifestyle. Correct. And they got together and dismantled that shit.
The last time we talked, Sister Bethy, didn't we unequivocally say that the most common thing in our families that we have fallouts about is money? So in that time, it was trade. So if someone didn't get their fair share, someone's going to be upset.
Yep. Which caused a lot of our family members to move off the farm and move on somebody else's, whether it be a white person's farm or a colored farm.
Makes no difference.
Facts. You can certainly hit the link if you have a question. I don't know who Mr. Vignotti is, but if it's any of the Pan African people, we just not dealing with them like that no more over here. I got too many of my political people up in here, and I refuse. But the link to to get on the panel is in the chat. Feel free to hit it, pop it, y'all. Week 5. You leave your job for a better pay. That's right, Copper Aberrations.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right. How about you?
I'm good.
Got all that hair nice
Hello.
and blonde. What's going on, girlie?
I'm good.
What you
I
got
think I
for
have
us?
something open up.
Oh, YouTube needs to close out. You're in StreamYard. So
Okay, so
if
wait a minute.
YouTube is open, just hit the
Okay.
X so it'll close.
Okay, what about now?
Oh, you're fine.
Okay, good. All right. So I was calling because I was thinking about when I was going over my genealogical records and how I got back to maybe the 1500s in one of my family's lines. And I was thinking about why would our ancestors specifically want Indians not taxed in the Constitution? And it dawned on me that they had spent significant amounts of time with these people, that they start arriving here. And they saw something in them that said, you know what, we need to protect the generations that are coming after us.
Mm-hmm.
That however they dealt with business, however they conducted themselves, it sort of lent itself to maybe they were going to do something to us that we couldn't fix on our own, because our families were tied together at this point. These people were our relatives.
Right.
And if you have people coming that aren't tied to us necessarily that way, it's going to be hard. People are going to make a choice. They're going to make a decision about which side they're going to be on, and they're never going to pick us. They're not going to pick us. They're not going to pick us because we have all the advantages. We're here already. We're tied to the land. We have working streams of income. We're wealthy people. So they're going to come here. They're going to be envious, and they're going to want that. So they said to themselves, let's protect it, because we're the only race of people that are mentioned in the Constitution. That's major. That's deep.
Yeah.
So I really had to think about, they thought long and hard about that. That's why it's in the Constitution. And then going back to what you guys were saying about Reconstruction, every single thing that I think about how we're affected as a race of people, it's about affecting what made us Indian. So they said, what is it? Keep the man, kill the Indian, keep the man, or I forgot how it's phrased, but so they attacked everything about us that made us us. How we dressed, how we interacted with each other, how our food, our music, everything. It was always less than. And those are the things that distinctly made us who we were.
Yes.
And so now you have another group of people that are here that, for all intents and purposes, they sort of look like us. They can assimilate very easily with us, primarily because of the color of their skin. Their skin is just as brown as ours. And so, and then they're told, well, hey, you come here, we're going to make your life just as nice as their life. But you have to sort of help us get on the inside. You have to help us keep them in their place, because if you don't, they're going to overtake. And all of the things that we enjoy, meaning them, and all the things that we're promising you, you're never going to have that unless you help us keep them where they currently are, where we've placed them. So a lot of times this is the motivation for why they do what they do.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, that was my thoughts on it, because I really thought long and hard. And the further I got back in my genealogy, and I was like, you know what, a lot of us are tied to them just, through family. And, they married into our, those the royalty from England. They married into those prominent Indian families. And how are you going to separate it now? Because if you're looking at this chief, he's looking at this is his daughter's husband. This is the grandchildren. So what you gonna do? You gonna raid a village and kill off your own family? No, he's gonna think differently about how he's gonna deal with them, because that's his daughter, that's her children, that's his grandchildren, if they have wronged him. But then you had some that didn't care. They killed everybody.
Yes.
Correct.
So, and that's a lot of times why they came here and they wanted to marry into those families, because they, say, hey, we gotta protect our interests. So the only way we're gonna do that is if, we gotta be their son-in-law, we gotta be their whoever. Because I even look at my records and they have some of these Indian boys that have married they brought their daughters here to marry.
Mm-hmm.
It's all through, and I'm like, and I asked my mother, I said, did my great-grandmother's mother, I said, did she say her mother was German? And she was like, she has never mentioned that. And I was like, well, I'm looking at the records, and clearly she's of German descent. And this was in the mid 1700s.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you know what? They were even coming on down this way. They were still coming here and marrying into these families.
Oh yeah.
And so, and I think they were swarthy people, and that's why when I'm looking at the records, I'm seeing mulatto, and I'm like, but they're saying they're German. Oh, okay, Black European. So now I understand where they came from. But before, I was like, she never said nothing about no German. My mother was like, I'm telling you, there was no German. I'm like, well, the records say different. But that just shows me that they were marrying into these families because they wanted to have ties to that land. They wanted to have ties to all the benefits that they saw us with, that were ours just for us being who we were. And that's why they said the only way we're going to really get this is we got to attack and make who they are something to be despised, something that nobody wants to be a part of. And that included the color of our skin, that included the things that we did and loved, and, all the things that made us who we were as a people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
this
if I
is
could,
very
girly
true.
girl, if I could, girly girl, it's so good to see you. It's so good to see you.
I know, beautiful sister. It
Oh, good
is.
to see you too.
I gotta let you know, those were remote degrees of blood that they needed to oust the people that was in charge throughout time. That's why.
So when Sister Betty brought that out, I was like, that's what they meant. And when you're looking at these records, you're saying, oh, that's it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I kept wondering where this name came from, and when I tracked it back, it was like German.
Yeah.
Scotland.
But you got to remember that a lot of our people, y'all, and still today, we fall in love with Europeans. That's common. We fall in love with Europeans. That's why you see a lot of black and white couples.
Ooh, I was just about
We've
to say
always
that.
had. We've always fell in love with Europeans. We did, because it wasn't always a hate thing between us. Other people that wanted to preserve their race made it a racist thing. But we did ordinarily and humbly fall in love with white Europeans. We did. That's why we have mulatto families. I mean, look at the North. We're loaded with mulattoes because we still fall in love. And that's a fact. And that's something that history has always tried to stop.
Yes.
Yeah, like I have
it's not a communist. It's not. I mean, United States and America, period, is not a communist country, and it never has been. No. You fall in love with who you fall in love with. You can't tell nobody who to fall in love with. That's just very communist, and that's not what this country is about. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So, it takes a lot of maturing from our people that we have to do. We have to understand the fact that that's something that's always been very common on this land. We fall in love with foreigners.
Yeah.
Correct, Christopher. Correct. The whole Pocahontas story.
And
Exactly.
and another thing, I think that it's always been taboo that, you know, to think of our people doing anything negatively to each other, and that we would ever betray each other.
Oh,
So
cool.
when you put that out there, you know, people look at you like, you know, you have just committed the, you know, like you need to be killed because you said that. How dare
Yeah.
you ever say anything about us doing that to each other? That is just wrong. It's just not true. And it's just like, well, no, you're gonna have to rethink this. That it wasn't always them against us. Sometimes, you know, we did things to each other.
We
And
were
we're
the
gonna have,
majority, so it
yeah,
was us. We have to face that fact and stop. Girly, that's why I keep saying we need to really, really use our common sense. We were always the majority back then, and it was us doing it to us.
Mm-hmm.
Facts, because we still
yeah,
doing it today. Keep it real.
Yeah,
Say
nothing's
it again.
changed.
yeah.
There it is.
I mean, look at what Rootword did on the panel. He came on there and called me all kinds of horrible names. That's what we did, and
Yeah,
we
I
still do
just,
it
yeah.
today. But I ignore him. He got a drug problem. That's what drug addicts do.
And he was just sort of melting.
Yeah.
And it was sort of sad to watch it
It
actually,
was
but
sad to watch. That was
it
sad to
was.
watch.
But I was completely fine because, you know, we all have addicts in our family.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to help them, they cuss you out.
Yes, they
Yeah.
do. Lord have
That's what
mercy.
they do when you're trying to help them.
Better get
And
your
I
nursing
just
degree
ignore
up.
it. To me, he
Yeah, I'm
made
a nurse
himself
too,
look bad.
Alfie. Yeah,
Yes,
you
Yeah.
when you
ma'am.
watch
That's
it,
what we gonna have to do. We gonna have to rock out on this healthcare thing because I'm trying to tell you that's
a
the
lot
only
of them
way
have
we
mental
go
health issues.
for
And that's
Yeah.
real.
another thing in our community that is look, you know, like you just got to get it together. You're not allowed to have mental health issues. You're not allowed to have chemical imbalances. And if you do, it's almost like they just want to put you in the basement and lock you away. Because as a race, that don't happen. Everybody else is crazy. We're not.
You better get down with that ALF or they gonna drug your family to death and be testing them drugs on them.
Yeah.
So the focus in our community should just be on our people. We waste so much time worrying about what other races and cultures are doing on our land, except our own. We're the ones that have nothing. And it's because we don't do things together to get something. We we can't keep being victims. We're victims because we choose to be victims. We got to get it together. Every race comes over here, work together, and build up. We don't. We don't have to go no fucking where. We're already on our own land, and we are not building together and building.
Come up with some inventions, start patenting them. That's what I'm trying to do.
Open your
Yeah.
And
own business.
keep
Open your own
businesses.
business. Please, for the love
I
of
Yeah.
got
God,
food,
open
so
your
I
own
already
business.
know.
And
That's
that's why
facts.
and that's why when I run these Zooms meeting, I hope, we all come in there so that we can learn, man. We got to teach our people. And the ones that get frustrated and find out, what having a family tribe entails, they use like, oh, I ain't got time for it. It's because our people don't want to do nothing. And you're gonna see that firsthand in the Zoom. We're not gonna have to tell you. You're gonna see it yourself by the people that don't take the action. And
Well,
you'll see why it's gonna hurt. It's really gonna hurt, but you're gonna see it.
hmm.
But we have to be the examples for our people.
I got a question. What you think about people like trying to get into legislation?
I think that's an awesome thing because we haven't been in it since 1870. What?
I know we ain't got no representation, so what they've been doing is taking all our tax dollars and sending them
Yeah,
overseas.
there's nobody there representing us because they're doing exactly what everyone wanted to do. You, I mean, I don't think it's nothing wrong with um the country sending money to their country. It's because we're not in there doing it. We're not doing it's us. We're not doing anything for each other. They're doing stuff for their people. It's us that not doing stuff for their people, for our people. We're not trying to get in office. And the people that look like us that are in office are not us, because their monies is going to islands and other parts of the world.
Facts.
Yeah.
Indians are not up in there. We're sitting back on YouTube watching and still not doing nothing. We can't even have like decent conversations on panels. We get up on panels and you see our behaviors. It's not the
Yeah, we
great.
try to tear each other down and everything else. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
studying with legislation, the people that, actually write the actual laws and setting up different things. Like by me doing like ALF study and then studying like the nursing homes and stuff, that's what made me kind of go in that direction and kind of figure that out. Still lost on a couple of things, but it's okay. I'm still learning. So just open.
We learn every day, Alfie. I don't have all the answers. We learn something new or every day. Every time somebody comes up on this panel, I learn something.
Yeah.
We all learn together. We all don't know it all, but together we know a whole lot.
It makes
But I
peace in
think
the
that's
puzzle
what, yeah.
better. It makes peace in the puzzle so better when we have a
Yes,
lot of
it
minds that
do.
want to know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Dane was talking about that. I didn't realize, like, because I had a non for profit and I didn't realize what all the intricate details of it, what it all could do. Because I'm still
Yes.
working it and putting it together. And,
Mhm.
I end up dealing with individuals from other countries too.
Mhm.
And
Mm-hmm.
collaboratively, I got a lot done. But it's just, I would love to be able to connect with more people that's trying to do the same thing I'm doing. Like I just came to Florida and everything just was clicking because I had more
Mhm.
people on the same page.
Mhm.
But yeah, we got to run for
What part
legislation.
of Florida you in again, Alfie?
I'm in Jacksonville right now, so
Okay.
I be between North Carolina and Jacksonville because, like I said, my family land is in North Carolina.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to keep them abreast on doing the little farming thing so I can keep doing stuff like food pantries and feeding people, even though
Exactly.
they're crazy as hell.
Love it.
That's
There we
what
go.
that's what
That's it.
tribes do.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what tribes do. That's what tribes do.
That's
they
it.
be trying to make it difficult though, because you got some of these, it's the gatekeepers I've been beefing with. I'm trying to be low key here though, because I learned in Ohio, the gatekeepers peeped my whole steal on was coming after me and messing with me on all kinds of aspects I wasn't ready for, but I'm ready today. I learned from
Well,
my little falls.
these are the things that we talk about in Zoom on how to maintain that and things of that nature. Because you always want to maintain your professionalism. And those are things that we're going to cover in the lecturing in Zoom. I'm not here to leave you on a limb because you got to learn. There's a lot you have to learn about gatekeeping and everything and how to deal with that. Where you think gatekeeping is a horrible thing, but when you learn what it's really about, then you become to understand, because a lot of negative people in our community give negative stories about what is gatekeeping, what is that all about. And we're going to learn those things in Zoom.
Yeah, I think gatekeeping is something that is one of those things that has always been negatively looked upon in our community just because it was given a bad name. And we were never taught to protect what we had because at some point someone may want to steal it. And we were always told, oh, you have to share, you have to, you have to give. Well, you're no longer dealing with the same group of people. Now you have others coming in and you're going to have to learn that, well, no, you're going to have to, got to take care of home first. And then you can begin to, when your base is strong, you can begin to help everybody else. So I think that it kind of got convoluted because we were accustomed to, my dad was just talking about when they grew up on the farm. He said that, when they had surpluses and you gave food out to people who didn't have as much.
Right.
No, they weren't starving. He said, but you still, if you had extra potatoes, you had extra whatever, he said his grandmother would tell him, take this down to so-and-so's house. And they gave it to whomever. But it wasn't, it wasn't, out of, trying to lord that over somebody. That's just what was done. You took care of each other.
Right.
And I think that somewhere along the way that's been given a bad name, us taking care of home first, and then going out and giving your surplus away to other people. I think that's been, looked down upon. We were supposed to just share and be free and give away everything and never take care of ourselves. That selflessness became the pinnacle, instead of, selfishness sort of being where, placed in the right context, that we take care of
That's
one
Right.
where
another.
stingy nigga came from.
Yeah.
God.
And those names they call us, Indian giver. You
Yeah.
give it and then you want it back, or you give it and you only giving it because you want something. All those names, but one thing about what the reestablishing your individual family tribes. It, I mean, when I'm lecturing on that, I'm so serious. I'm not even, I'm going to really start from the beginning. And so you can really have an understanding of what it's about and why the gatekeeping is the way it is. You're going to learn all of that because it's so important. You see all the scamming going on now,
Mm-hmm.
and that's as a result of that you get the gatekeeping. Gatekeeping comes in many forms. Gatekeeping comes in from, the IRS, why it's so important to have an accounting firm so that they can guide you and help you and make sure you're doing the right things from the IRS. I don't have time to follow IRS laws, but I like learning them, and you learn that through your accounting firm. They need to know these things because, believe me, for every scam that's already been done, anything we try to do, it's already been done. And
Mm-hmm.
a clamp has been on it. So they make these gatekeeping laws to protect the funds of the citizens, the federal tax dollars. People have all kinds of schemes. You see that with the social security card
Scamming
and
is off the
all
hook.
this. Yeah. So you want to do things right. You don't want to get on the bad side of the IRS. You don't. You got more to lose when you do that.
Yeah, your freedom.
They will attack you when you least expect it.
You silly, yeah. Yeah. And that's a fact. You want to do it right. And
And
that's a
them
fact.
people is not playing. You seen they didn't hire 87,000 more of them.
That's right. And I don't blame them. They need to. Well, probably hide them because they know they were going to start establishing our family tribes again. And they're probably saying, wow, it's a fucking about time spent since 1870. We're the only ones that are not doing things for our people.
Yep.
All the other races that come here they're sending money over to their countries. We don't have to send money no goddamn where. We send money down the street or goods down the street. We're on our land already. And instead of us taking care of business, our tribal business, we're pointing our finger at other foreigners that's sending money to their countries. Well, they work, they have jobs, they have a right to send their tax dollars over to help their families. But we ain't doing shit to help ours. We're not.
And
Got to
it's
take
so
care of home
hurtful.
first.
It's so hurtful because of two things. I can look at you, I can look at everybody on this panel. There's nothing that's gonna make me hate you to the point of that kind of, violent behavior or anything like that. No, it's just not. So for you to have that kind of hatred in your heart, that says something about the person you are or the character you carry within you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's childhood trauma too, because that's something that I've been really meditating on and really just really focusing on. But I had to heal myself before I could deal with anyone else.
Yeah. You do have to
But
do that.
now I got to the point now where I see it and I notice it. That's why a lot of times people want them shoes and all that crap because they didn't get it when they was young. They felt like, they was picked at and all that kind of stuff. We got to figure out ways to heal that.
Yeah. It's called maturing up. It's called you're an adult now. You're not 10 years old anymore. And that's why I don't do Facebook. That's why I do not do Facebook, because so many of my childhood friends hold grudge against me from when I had a fight with them when I was 11 years old. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? As many of
Man,
our
listen, my
people,
cousins.
and they still hate me from when I was 11 years old. And I'm like, are you serious? All of our childhood friends are dying. Every time I turn Facebook on, it's rest in peace. And you're still holding a grudge from when I beat you up in 3rd and 4th grade. Are you fucking serious? And they still act like they act when they was 10 years old, but only their ass is 50 something now. And I'm like,
That's what be throwing me off.
I can't do Facebook anymore. I said, I can't. You guys do not want to grow up. And all of our friends are dying every day. And I don't want none of my childhood friends to leave out of here and I not apologize to them. So I put up a big post and said, you know, if I beat you up when I was 11 or 12 years old, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
Get over it. I just mopped you up real quick. It's gonna be okay. We
Get over it.
Because I'm like, you know, I mean, really. And our people, they just don't grow up. A lot of them.
That's what bothered me.
I see it on YouTube. I'm like, how fucking old is this person? Just 50, late 40s, and you're arguing like from high school, ready to pull up and kill each other from like back in the behavior back in the 90s. And I'm like, I'm just like lost. I'm like, do I really want to work with these kind of people in my community? So I just fish out and deal with the ones that are really mature and really ready to do something positive in life. I'm not going to bring that into the tribe. I can't do it. I can't until they look back and say, you know, I was really horrible on YouTube. I need to really change. I'm too fucking old. I mean, a lot of them don't even realize that the individuals they're arguing with are people their kids' age. That's why I took a step back, because I said, wait a minute. I was counting ages like with Ad Power and
yeah, I had to realize that too. I was like, you know what? They
wait a
are
minute.
like,
I'm dealing with another era. I gotta chill. I need to
Mhm.
back up. Hey, Key. And I said, I let them drag me into their world.
They
And I
took you there.
found and I found myself saying, oh, I will come there. Like I'm back in the 90s. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I did
Because
too.
I hung out and in the club in the 90s.
My wife got on me. She got on me so bad, and she could not
I was
believe.
like, wait a minute.
She
I
couldn't
forgot.
believe.
You forget their age because you be ready to kill them.
And she was like, "That is not you. You a grown man with all these kids. Stop playing. You ain't doing none of that. I need you at home. Stop playing with these little boys."
Yeah, because I'm like, why am I said, I can't believe I was arguing with somebody Mookie age and told her I would kick her ass and all this stuff. I said, wait, hold up. Because you forget all about, you don't know the age of some of these people, because some of them look your age, my age.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
babies.
7. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, they look like they 50 something, but in actuality, they're 30s, like my daughter's age. And but they look my age. And I think some of them thought I was their age. And I'm like, no, I refuse to let my daughter come on my panel. She came on one time. And I don't want her arguing with anyone. Like, wait, that's my mother, because she's that hot mouth.
Yeah.
She was born in the 90s. You know how them 90s babies are.
Yep.
You know.
In the 90s.
And they don't have no filter. And I don't want her coming up here because I'm not gangster mom. You just let me handle my show. I don't need you as a
she's your warrior. She's gonna come in and slice heads if they mess with you.
She come.
My nieces too, because you know my nieces.
I'm gonna take scalp.
My oldest niece is 40, And I'm like, I'm counting the age, and I'm like, damn, my sister's daughter is 40. So let me just step back and get my ass over to the Sister Betty show because I'm too old. I'm in the wrong era. But some of them I really thought were my age. So I pulled away. I said, I don't even hang with this age group. See, another one that I thought that was my age was Top Cats. I couldn't figure his age out, and I thought he was lying.
He got an old soul.
Yeah, I thought he was an older dude, my age, saying that he's 33, but he really fucking is. So I'm like, oh, they're too young. I got to get my ass back over to Sister Betty's show. More people my age now. People in my eras like Empress Holbert, Chief Holiday, Cuddy, the Generation X. So that's why I deal with people. Excuse me, are you an X? Or if you're a Y, you got to go. So I got it right now.
I think Shahson the other day, he was saying that he was when 9/11 happened, that he was like in elementary school.
Correct.
See?
And I'm saying to myself, I was off from my job, sitting on my couch, watching that plane flying to that building. And I'm saying this boy was a baby.
Yes.
So you have to, I was like, oh yeah, he is definitely, like, he's younger than my sister. My sister's a millennial. She was like, I remember my mom had to go pull out of school that day. So it was just like, you have to really think about where they are and where you are and how they're approaching this whole thing. It's so many things that we've seen in life that they have absolutely no clue about. So how they are approaching this thing about race and color and their viewpoint on the world and how it's affecting them is totally different than ours, because we can remember a time when there was no internet. So how are you interacting with somebody all the way in a whole nother continent? They're thinking like, oh, like we had all this exchange of information and that, they could just, speed across the Atlantic and be over here like in a flash. I'm like, no, dude.
No.
That you don't understand. You don't see that world because it's not real for you.
Right.
He don't remember a world without cell phones or without the internet. He was not around when he wasn't around. His world is completely internet and cell phones and exchange of information and global family. That's his world. Yeah, so he cannot imagine it. He can't imagine that it truly was a separation. We didn't know anything about Africa. Nothing. Right. Besides what we saw on television, and that was someone else's fictitious depiction of it.
Yep.
Roots
the baddest. What was it? The baddest person had that satchel phone.
Yeah, our TVs.
Yes, remember that?
Our TVs were black and white, and we saw Tarzan and Jackie Gleason, and we used clothes hangers to keep the station
antenna.
Y'all got Wi-Fi.
I was the remote. Go over there and change that channel.
Go over there and change the channel.
So our age, and in 2001, like you said, I was still hanging in a club. I was young as hell.
Yes.
Exactly.
I was still hanging in the club.
When 9/11 happened, I was on a roof, constructing a roof that got torn off by a tornado in Indiana. Me and some of my partners, we on the top of this monastery, replacing the roof.
Mm-hmm.
We get the radio call. My guy Jeff, he was like, Dennis, do you think that you think, hey Smoke, you think we should go back? And I'm like, no, let's see what it's gonna do first.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what it's gonna do.
Some of them is like what, 35. In 2001, I was 35. I was still hanging in the club. My daughter was a baby.
I was 29. So yeah, I'm saying to myself, like, they don't have a clue. They just don't.
Yeah, Mookie was in elementary school. She was 9 years old. I remember that day because they all made us leave work at the state. They said to go home because a lot of people that worked at the states, families worked in the Twin Towers.
Oh yeah, that's right, because you're in Connecticut.
So it was devastating. And
Mm-hmm.
my daughter, she was only 9. So just imagine, like, people like Ad Power. He was only fucking 9 years old.
Yeah, like, do they remember when the Challenger blew up? They weren't even
Yes, I
alive.
do. I do.
I do. I was in school.
Yeah, we were. That was like we were
I
in
kept
school, and that
saying
was
I
like a big
saw a
thing.
foot, and they
Yeah.
found one too.
So yeah, that for them it's this whole thing that's just they have no idea about it. So that's why it's so very hard for them to grasp onto the concept that that there was no other races here. It was just because we can remember a world even in our earlier days when you only saw black and white. And you saw a few Hispanics. I mean, now I'm from Houston. I'm from Texas, and we saw Hispanics, blacks, and whites. That was it. You didn't really see anybody else unless you ventured into their sides of town. You went to Chinatown and you saw people who were Asian or things like that. But for the most part, it was just those 3 races of people. You didn't see anybody else. So it's not hard for us to imagine that there were no Africans, because we remember a time in our own lifetime that was true. For them, they don't get it because it's always been this global family from the day they were born, and they're just saying, like, how they weren't, those colored people weren't African, because it wasn't no African people here.
Right.
I ain't seen one
I hear
until
Shay's
like
son,
the 80s.
who say that
In Ohio.
none of y'all's parents or grandparents was around for slavery. Well, I have to tell you this.
Wow.
My 5th generation grandmother was around. She was born in 1837. Slavery didn't stop until 1865. She was 28 years old.
He's a young boy.
Hello.
He's a young boy. He has no
So
idea.
you really got to do the math. And my grandmother that was alive that came to Connecticut in 1929, she was born in 1878 minus 1865. Guess what? She was born in 1878 and she was alive here in Connecticut. She came to Connecticut in 1921 with 16 kids.
Wow, yeah.
She was born in 1878. I wasn't alive to know who she was, but my mother was.
Yeah.
My mom was born in 1948. She was 13 years old. And when slavery had stopped 13 years before she was born. So Shay, son, you have to be very careful. Yes, my 5th generation grandmother came here in 1929, I'm sorry. And she died in 1957. And
there was no African part. There was no.
She was born in 1878, right? And her mother was born in 1837. Her mother died in 1922. So, young man,
there's no African in this.
If my 5th generation grandma came here to Connecticut in 1929, you better bet your bottom dollars my great grandmother would know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe the slavery part.
I mean, like, he's very young. He's very, very young. So,
all right. I just got to say this one more time for the hearing impaired. And then you can't argue with
him. He's a kid, So once I found that out, now he's just a kid. You could just ignore him. So he needs.
Yes,
he can go and socialize and aggravate people in his age era. Like Shay said, he would be in At Powers era. So us, it ain't nobody. So,
I mean, I even was amazed when I looked.
He's very disrespectful. I'm old enough to be your mother. And I'm going to tell you this. You come in here talking to me. You talk to me with respect. You use your manners and don't talk to me like that. Don't. Else I'm going to block you from my channel. I am old enough. My daughter's older than you. I tell you, I'm not tolerating this anymore. The tone of your voice and the tone of your messages is very disrespectful. I don't like it. I can't stand being disrespected by young kids. So I don't
No,
fuck with them no more. I don't.
nope.
I don't. They don't think they're being disrespectful because they forget they're not talking to somebody in their age era.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me like you talk to people in your age era.
And you know what? I totally understand what you're saying now. And from
Mm-hmm.
here on out, I will never, ever, ever talk to somebody in this kind of way that's younger than me. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I just can't do it because they're like you said this in the beginning. Please remove your indoctrination and your reconstruction
Yeah.
and just think logically. That's all I need
Yeah.
you to do is just think
It's
logically.
it's
That-
gonna get better here. We got more people watching now, and
Mm-hmm.
I pulled them in here now from Twitter. So I was so scared to stream to Twitter. I really was, y'all, because it's a lot. I have a multicultural audience. It's probably even worse than Brother Sanchez, who has a multicultural. Mine is very multicultural.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter is straight politics, and I deal
Oh
with a
yeah.
lot of Europeans, and they're all in here watching, really, literally. Even people from my job, my colleagues, they're watching me, and they see me. My governor watches. Everybody watches.
That's actually
So,
commendable, though.
yeah,
That they want to come in and that they want to be a part of what you have to what you want to sort of donate to the cause. And I think that to our to us as a group, they want to learn and they want to educate themselves. I think that and
mhm,
you sort of created a vehicle for that, a
yeah.
lane.
It helps them better understand us too, seeing that there's nobody boldly in the legislature to represent us right. They're
Exactly.
afraid. They're very afraid to talk about it, and they're not going to tell the story like we are. They're not. So when they listen to our YouTube channels and they hear us, one thing about European politicians, they take notes and they listen because they know that the right people are not in office representing us. So they take
Mm-hmm.
notes and they try to establish laws and do things to make it better for us because there's nobody speaking for us.
That's facts. That's why I'm
Yeah.
trying to learn it myself, because, man, I mean, especially in healthcare, that's where the main disparity is. And I
Yeah,
mean, it's really sad. It's really sad.
yeah. That
Oh,
whole
one more thing I wanted to mention about somebody was talking about, I think it was you, Sister Becky, that was mentioning about them quantifying, their physical description. That is
yes,
1000% true because I became a labor and delivery nurse in the year 2000. We could pick on when we filled out our birth record, so we would fill out, what happened during the delivery, whatever. We had a spot at the very top that wanted you to identify what was the race of the baby. They didn't ask you physical description. So I'm looking at her and I'm looking at him and I'm picking what's going to be placed on this baby's record. What color this kid is. I'm picking it. His mom and dad is not responsible for this. So it is it's a physical description. It's up to somebody else to pick this, is what I'm saying. It wasn't like they even had a choice. This was in 2000.
yeah,
So I think that it's sort of illogical for them to think that you always had a choice or that you were always the one responsible for putting what you were on your records. You weren't.
yeah,
Our families were not given that opportunity to do that until we
right,
were self-enumerating. And once we were self-enumerating, then you could pick it. But by that time, that's our parents, our grandparents, our parents, and they're afraid to pick what we really are because they've been told not to do that. That
Right.
comes with penalties.
There it is.
If
Right.
you try to claim Indian, they're gonna get you. Don't do that.
That comes
Yeah.
with a penalty.
That's where the killing and hanging and all that stuff come from.
That's what.
And you got to remember, in the Civil War, y'all, they disowned us in the South, our ancestors. So they were the ones that was threatening us too, the mulatto ones and the brown ones, because we joined the Union. And if we said we was Indian, who do you think that was gonna kill us?
It wasn't a white man that came to kill you.
You ain't us. They disowned us, man.
Oh, that's disownment.
Bad. Yeah, we got a lot to learn about history.
I love this stuff. I love this.
Yeah.
It's a fact. But I love this bill, y'all, and I want to come back. You know, I'll be back tomorrow night. But please, if you want to be, we're able to really talk about it in Zoom. It's so much better because we can't say everything on YouTube. We get censored for everything. So, I really would like you to register on our website. Just get your name in there and come into Zoom. The day that you come into Zoom, on the 14th for the Establish Your Family Tribe, it's all going to be talking. I'm not telling you the forms. You have to have a really great understanding how to be the chiefs of your tribes. It's important. A lot comes with it. And the ones that are frustrated and know they're never going to do it, they're the ones that I highly recommend that you join someone's tribe then. Just be a member. But if you're going to be the chief of the tribe, you're going to have to work. You're going to have to work. So we'll get more into it when we have that meeting, but register online so you can get yourselves educated on it. And we're going to talk about the opportunities you do have. And it just was never brought to your attention because so many of our people, it's just a hood. For real. Not all of us, but so many of us. Us that are raging and complaining in YouTube about your land. Almost fucking how many years now? Almost 200. You got my land, coming with they're using the street attitude and that whole nine. A lot of them with the very low education, but that's how you act. But you can't knock something if you haven't tried. I'm never recommending anybody relinquish themselves from their own goddamn land. That's insane to me.
Facts.
That's insane. Because if the United States ever changed, the government ever changed, and we're all in office, I swear I'd be the first one to pass a law to deport every African American to West Africa because of the chaos that they cause in YouTube. If I was to be in office, that would be the first bill that I would put on the table. Everyone that's a damn Indian from here that identified to be African American, I would deport their fucking asses to West Africa where they came from.
Because that's your land.
You're wearing the clothes, you're claiming the land. Now you need to go there and don't ever come back.
Reconstruction time.
I really would.
It wouldn't
and we
last 2
can do
minutes,
that.
and you know
We
it.
can do that. We could do that. We ain't letting them back. We could literally do that.
They wouldn't last 2 minutes.
We can have the United States military like we did in the old days. Who knocked on our doors? The militia, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So guess what? We can have the same fucking militia knock on these African American doors and send their
You
asses.
can actually do that right now for non-for-profit, because when I interfaced with SAMS.gov, I didn't know what a cage code was.
Yep.
That's what that is tied to.
Yep. Yes, it is. Healthcare, a motherfucker.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, man, this mess is deep. I just gotta keep studying.
Cause I got a female friend of mine that's a phlebotomist, and she deals with straight up blood, and she knows what she knows, and she says all the time they know exactly who people are.
Yeah.
They know. And for anybody that did that spit in the cup test, you fucked yourself. Excuse my French.
Funny.
Just keeping it all the way honest.
It's true.
You just let them tell you where you from, and you ain't from there. So if everything goes the way that most of us want it to go, you gonna get deported, bro.
Yes.
You gonna get deported.
I would love to see that happen. The first thing I would do is have some like the cheerleader. I was a cheerleader in high school, the megaphone.
Right. Bullhorn.
I'd be like, Jabari! Jabari! Jabari!
He another one that wouldn't make it. Mm-mm.
Oh, he gonna
Sarah
cry.
Susan Sarah Susan.
He gonna cry on the way to the car. He gonna cry on the way to the car.
These little
Oh,
light
my
skin, paper
Oh,
thin. Yeah, they not gonna make it.
He gonna go over there and have to eat that bush meat, man. It ain't gonna work.
And the way that we send them back to Africa is going to be the same way they poor claim that came in. We're going to send them on a ship.
Oh man, they gonna die.
We're going to send them on a boat. And we want it to go to Bering Strait way.
Oh shit.
They gonna be seasick. Oh Lord.
Where the food and everything at? Do they got to go back the same way they came?
Wait, and I'm going to find some white European militia guys and give them whips and tell them to take them back to Africa. That way the story will really be true.
Ain't it?
I'm going to give a bunch of white militia guys. I'm going to give some Russians, some Jews, and all these other white Europeans whips. And say, okay, take their ass to Africa so we can make their story really be true. I'm going to give them whips.
Not the bull whip.
Yep.
Oh.
I'm going to give it to them. That way they can say, oh, it really happened in history. It should be recorded.
In reverse. In reverse.
Y'all wildin'.
But that's what needs to happen. People need to stop going along with this bullshit, this stuff. It's not right.
Yep. We're gonna make sure they have their Kunta Kinte story and it'll be documented and recorded. Jabari
Cortez, they can't
Otays.
jump off that boat. They can't jump off that boat because there's gonna be plenty of sharks in that water, brother.
I mean, I just want to know, do they really think that this Gone with the Wind romanticized version of slavery is true? Because they really want to hold on to this. Like these women in these big hoop dresses and these men in these suits were standing on the porch drinking mint juleps, and and just this romanticized version of it is not real. It's not realistic. Someone that was not you, that didn't look like you, wrote that story with you being subjugated and them being in control. That is what that narrative has taken off, and you bought into it hook, line, and sinker. I don't think they understand the ramifications of how crazy that makes them seem. Because you're saying, oh yeah, but I totally believe it. That some, paper thin, white boy on a horse was subjugating Pookie and Ray Rays. 25,000 Pookies and Ray Rays. One man
yeah,
on a horse.
girl.
Okay. All right. All right.
You know
Yeah,
that's
I believe
true,
it.
girl. Come on now. You know that's true.
And I
Sister
hate that for
Becky,
years I believed it. I mean, I was like,
I
okay,
mean,
what
I'm
they
trying
say
to
is
picture
true.
them beating all these guys right here,
good luck.
all these guys right here,
Right.
all these guys right here. I can't even get the damn story in my head. All these guys right here. I'm trying to see this dude on the
Right there.
farm getting
Mm.
whipped in the back, big meat, by white people. Y'all blaming these stories on white people. It's just bad. I'm serious. I'm trying to get the story, but my soul won't let me accept it. All I can see is my son saying to me, "Mom, you know this is some bullshit, right?" That's
You
what
know
I
I'm
That's
about to
little
get.
let
Neat
y'all
Neat
figure it
and
out,
little
right?
Ray Ray. They ain't letting nobody
Ain't
whip them.
going. Ain't going.
And then the other half of the African community believe this where we came.
They said forever that's a monkey.
We gotta send them back home.
Oh my God, no. No.
We
You got
got
the
to,
pose
y'all.
looking over the shoulder pose.
This is why we got to get in office.
Oh,
We got to get in office to send them back
True
to her,
story.
to little Lucy.
Sister
Been
Becky,
saying Lucy
I
was a
want to say
monkey.
one thing to dispel any out of Africa theory. Show me any literature, folklore, story tale, anything that says that don't go here. We are being taken and stolen. That's all I want to see. Right. Where's the literature over there in that continent that depicts or shows or says, do not go to West Africa because they taking us?
They take you. Don't go over there.
Right. You would
No,
think
in
there will be some kind of something, right?
89 is when I first met a first African. And when I told him that story, he looked at me like I was crazy. That's
They
what made
all do. They all
that's,
do. They
Yeah.
that's what started making me look like something don't seem right here.
they all do.
Because at the
But
core of it, they're saying you came to our country and our continent and you took us. So they looking with that starts with them, and they're saying, well, you can't take none of us. You ain't gonna be able to come over. Ain't no white man gonna be able to come over here and take us. That's what they're saying. So it's almost like it's an insult, but in reverse. And it's like, well, this is what they told us. This is what they said happened. This is who they say our people. They said we're related to you, and this is how we got here. It's because and then the more you explain it, the crazier you sound, and so
yeah,
you just kind of stop talking because you're like, well, okay. And then you sit back and you say, well, that now that I think about it, maybe I need to reflect and really think about that whole story. Though it don't really sound right now that I think
it
about it.
don't.
They
It
don't.
don't. It don't. And when I say literally a few white guys with all them blacks on them little fake ships, that just don't make no sense, man. Come on,
I mean,
it
think
don't.
about. I mean, logic. Just because if apply it equally across the board. If you can't apply it equally, then it's propaganda. The
And
logic
then,
is
Yeah.
there.
yeah, and then y'all, everybody up here seen Roots, right?
Oh
Of
yeah.
course.
Now, y'all remember when Lou Gossip Jr. was in the woods and they was initiating the 12-year-old boys to be men. They had to put a little thing down so they could shave their wee wee or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Well,
I remember. Yeah.
remember he was giving them a story when they were sitting all down, trying to explain to them and describe to them what a white man looked like white people never been over in Africa. He was like, "You will know when you see the white man. He smells like a wet chicken.
Y'all don't have chickens in
Get the fuck
Africa.
out of here." I know. And and I'm
Oh,
like Africans never seen white people. That's a damn lie. You're over in Europe. Hello. How you not gonna see white people? And then his bald head ass Lou Gossip Jr. trying to describe him. And I'm like, and all of a sudden, Kuta Kinte goes in the wood to get some rubber so he can make his brother a damn drum. And guess who was chasing him? Niggas. Because a white guy wasn't running nowhere.
Say it
Niggas,
again.
and they caught him with a check. I'm like, this is some bullshit. This
You know what the
bullshit.
term was? That's what all of the films that any black person did. It was a black exploit.
It was
It was an
terrible.
exploit. That was just
Terrible.
propaganda to condition the minds of generations to come.
Yeah. And
That's
and
it.
that, you know, it was a condition if you really think back, girly. When we watched it back in the 70s, all the 50 states was quiet watching that show.
Yes, we were.
And they fucking closed the school the next day because they didn't know how niggas was gonna act.
Say it again.
They closed the school the next day because they didn't know how these nigga Indians was gonna act. And we did act. They was acting all wild and we was crazy. They didn't know how we were gonna react. So that's was the implementation of putting that African story in our heads. And it did a job. Look at all the dudes running around wearing dashikis. Fucking look at Sarah Suit and Seti sitting up there looking like a damn Powhatan chief. You see Sarah Suit and Seti look just like one of them damn Powhatans from Virginia.
He does. He really does.
He got the same face, the mulatto look.
What's that guy that played in he's from Virginia. He played in The Color Purple. He was Mister's. I think he was Mister's father. The little short.
Oh yeah, the short.
He looks just like him. Yeah, he's from Virginia. They look just alike.
Cool.
That's
how you're not even cute enough to ride in the caboose.
Yeah.
That's him.
Okay.
He looks just like him. And I said, how dare he? What is he? Looking just like he's from Virginia.
Yeah. A lot of Powhatans look just like him. And Sarah Suit and Seti up there looking like the biggest fucking Powhatan chief in YouTube. And then Omar Johnson. I'm fucking cracking up at the last name.
Man,
sitting up there looking like a big ass Cherokee Creek Yamasee goddamn Indian.
What's his last name for real? His
Johnson.
Is he
Johnson is
he's
not
a shoemaker.
his last name.
Shoemaker.
There you go.
Shoemaker is his real last name.
Who?
Umar.
Umar.
Oh yeah, Shoemaker. He and that's an Indian last name.
Yeah. He refuses to own up to it.
Dummy.
He said he's a prince of Pan-Africanism.
And wait, look at his fucking nose. Don't know Africans got no nose like that.
Man.
And see, that's the biggest trick of it all, because that's even like when the Moors try to come at me and be like, you got to change your name. I said, change my name for what? That's the first gift my mom and dad gave me.
Yeah.
I ain't changing it, and I ain't going to be no, I ain't got to do that. Yeah, that's the first thing they try to do is get you to change your name and sign your estate over to them. Don't make sense.
Get the fuck out of here.
Or tell you your name, your last name is European. That's some, and I'm saying to myself, well, now that I know that they weren't even speaking English, that what they were speaking was another dialect, and it wasn't based on any of what our languages are based on. That these names were taken there. It wasn't their names weren't brought here.
Right.
So these names are not European and or British or English, whatever they're considering that race of people to be. Those names didn't come with them, and they were given to us.
Right. And
surname.
The fact that we spoke Old English
and drank it.
All right, Brown liquor.
I'm sorry.
And their last names was totally different. Remember, I don't know if y'all saw that segment that Empress Hober showed, where all these foreigners, white Europeans, they was coming off the ship, and they was like, they gave me a name. They was giving them our names when they was coming off the goddamn ship. They didn't even speak English.
and I don't know if it was you, Sister Bethy, or it was her show where she said that they were the ones responsible for smashing the headstones of our people. So a lot of times you go into the old cemeteries and you'll see that they're all kind of broken up and smashed in the same spot. They're and you can't. It's hard to put them back together to see what the names were. But they did that once they adopted that family name, and they just went on with it.
Yeah.
Because they had to erase. They had to erase you.
Yeah.
They had to erase you. When I say
Old
erase,
English, Black Pearl, what we speaking right now, Southern language, the ones that we like. I was reading, the lady said that we spoke funny because we from the South. Old English.
Old English.
Speaking our same language we've been speaking. Yep, the languages are combined. That is fact. Fact. And it tells you, wait a minute, I think A1 or either App Power or both, or NG Father, I think all three of them told that the Indian languages is like 90% of the words that we speak are the Indian languages.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And Sister Bethy, what was that build you did? You said where they thought our languages were, our names were vulgar. They didn't.
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
That is correct. I was reading the census instructions. I gotta go pull that from my old segments. The census, the commissioner of the Department of Interior told them, the agents, to give us English Bible names because our names were too long and offensive and uncumbersome. So we had names like our nicknames, Fathead, Black Squirrel. They wouldn't allow it in the schools. So he said, give them an English Bible name and keep the Indian name to cross-reference. So if you went to school, ain't nobody calling you Hookhead.
They calling you John, Mark, and Matthew.
Jesus. I think that's why we had in the resurgence of that in the 70s. You know, you had all these Lakeishas and these Donna Keishas and these. I think that was because
that was in the 80s.
But I know, like in elementary school, I just remember I had friends whose names were. I mean, because you know, I got a little white girl name, but my mother was like, "Oh no, no, you don't." I was like, compared to my friends, I do, because they had truly. I don't know. Like I always say, they had Black girl names. Like you knew who you was talking to when you said their names, and you didn't. You know, if you talking to them on the phone, you don't. Before they get to you, you know who they are. And we had a resurgence of that. I feel like late 70s, early 80s.
Yep.
You know, you had Shaniquas, and I mean, if I had known that Shaniqua was an Indian name, you know, they made fun of that. They made it, Shaniqua and Shaquitas, and it's like those names. Those are Indian names. Those are names that. They go right along with our language. They go right along with the names that, you know, our grandparents that were more connected to the Indian part of our heritage, that's what their names sort of stem from.
Yeah. Those 80s and 90s babies, they had those names. Taquisha, Shaquisha, Shashay, all that. That was 80s and 90s.
But what black exploit made those things more prevalent to the conscious?
Say it again.
What black exploits made those names further into the conscious?
I don't know.
Martin.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Martin on his show. Shanae.
Right. Yep. Think about where I'm going with this.
Yep.
These are all seriously, because black folks
80s
don't you remember
Sister Betty,
when we did that build on Bill Cosby's video depicting how they were making films about black folks, put a sheet over you, black folks are scared of ghosts. Remember that Bill Cosby bill we did? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's just repetitive to keep your conscious submerged in ignorance.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. But I think they got to him too, because remember when he wrote, I think he wrote Fat Albert, the Cosby, he wrote, that was a part of his dissertation. And those kids were very connected to their heritage. So I don't know what happened, what, you know, all of that was about our people and our kids learning to read and him elevating us. It wasn't about him elevating children in general. But I don't know what happened, what they got to him. Because before that, you know, he was, you know, even though I know he's, you know, he's a part of the Divine Nine and he has a PhD and so does the wife, but I think at some point, you know, they got to him.
You talking about Cos, right?
Yeah, Bill Cosby.
Okay.
Remember when he wrote picture pages and the Cosby Kids?
So nothing happened with Bill Cosby prior to him wanting to buy NBC.
Yeah.
Right.
I forgot about that.
That's exactly when they started getting them.
That's when Bill Cosby got put on the show.
Or some cases that's older than me.
Exactly.
It's true.
I was talking about cases in the eye when all that mess went down.
Yeah.
Yep. But we, you know, I'm just gonna do what I do over here. I mean, we got to do it. If we don't do it, who else gonna do it?
Thanks.
Continue to try to get the people to establish. We got to get them to that point. We got to get them off YouTube from debating and into taking care of business. We could be, you know, fix ourselves to be better parents. You know, we got to start talking to our children and educating them.
Sister Betty, I had said this on the 2023-2024 with Chief Holiday and Cuddy. I can produce seeds for anyone that wants to grow. If you tell me the region that you're in or the state that you're in, I can give you the seeds that will prominently grow, all natural. And all you have to do is just do it. Some of the stuff that you have, just like you, Sister Bethy, where you stay at, you can have windowsill, oregano, or basil, or things of that nature because of where you stay at. So you don't get the sun. Well, I can't say the sun. You don't get the land that I have here in Kentucky.
Right.
See, everybody has a zone or a region that we live in, and I will ship you seeds of your choice for you to actually grow your own food. And I wanted to go through this with you to actually make this happen for the public, because I want people to get back to the land. Grow your own food. You wouldn't believe how much that would make you feel so much better knowing where it comes from.
Do you have any of the heirloom seeds, or these are just organic?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested because I mean I have a garden every year, so I want the heirloom seeds, and so
all of my seeds came from naturally organic based heirloom seeds, and now I'm on my 5th cycle.
Awesome.
That's wonderful.
That's wonderful. And that's another thing. A lot of us in the North, we can learn so much from our Southern brothers and sisters because they still plant food in the South and they still raise cattle. And we can learn so much from them, like how to know when fruit is fresh in the market, or, you know, we can learn so much from our Southern brothers and sisters, but we're so divided. We're working on it. We got a lot of work to do, but we got to start somewhere.
Yeah, we do.
So with that being said, you guys, I've been on for 3 hours and 45 minutes. I'm pooped. And I got up for work at 4:30. So I'm a little pooped.
Oh no, get you some rest.
And I want to get out of here, but I'll be live again tomorrow. Y'all subscribe to the channel, become a member so we can do this together. I could use members on my channel. I don't have a whole lot, but I love to have some. And my folks in the North, it's a little plus sign button where you could become a member on there or something, I think.
I only saw it go across the thing once, Sister Betty. I think you probably need to push it more, the membership,
Oh,
because
that's
I only
done.
saw it. Yeah, I only saw it one time.
It's at
I
the
don't know.
bottom on the U-Team stream.
Hmm.
I don't know how to do it.
It's at the bottom on the U-Team, YouTube channel, right up under the video.
Oh, it
It
says
says
share.
subscribe. Once you hit subscribe, it'll go straight to it. Or you can hit
Oh,
join.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, I see what you says. It says join.
Yes.
Oh, and you can become a member.
Yes.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Yeah, y'all hit the join button.
Yes. Join and become a member of the community.
Yeah.
Okay, I see it. I never knew it was there. Look at me. All this time. Okay, I see it now. Now I know where it says. I don't know all of it. I'm learning. Yeah. Join, become a member. And they have the $sign where you could send up highlighted messages. I know that one because I do it all the time on People Channel I go on.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I rather for them to join. You know, we could
Yeah.
do this together. Keep getting people to come, and we teach them. That's why I like to have dialogue on the panel after I do the lecture. I love to have dialogue. It's so fun. And you get to learn from folks from the South. What state you from, girly?
I'm from Texas.
Oh,
Yes.
dang. Whoa,
Yes.
whoa, you way out there. What? Wow.
Yeah,
What-
Top Cat and I are from the same place. He's from Houston too. So yeah, and like
That's where
he
I
grew up
want to
in,
go.
he grew up in the same area where my dad's people grew up at. So that's why a lot of his, when he's speaking, it resonates with me because I hear my uncles and my dad in him, in his voice, and the way that he thinks about stuff. So and the
Yeah.
same thing with you. Like when I listen to you, I just get like, I have two great aunts that lived in the North, and when I hear you speak, I hear them. So it's kind of like you sort of get that. That's how I know that we're all connected, and I know we're all
Yeah,
Indians
we
because
are.
we can you get that sense of community when you listen to people that are like you, and I hear it in your voice. And I was like, you know what, she sounds just like my great aunt, and let me see what she's talking about. So
Yeah, we
yeah,
all got to connect.
yeah, we
Yep.
have to connect. That's why these platforms are good to have. Yeah, and you provide a space for us, so thank you, I appreciate it.
Oh, I love it. I love when y'all come here. We have fun and talk. Where, Alfie, where you say you were from again?
Well, I was born in Ohio, raised in North Carolina, and I live in Florida. So
Wow, you've been all
Okay.
around.
Yeah.
yeah, they was trying to keep me out of trouble because I was always in trouble. My poor self. I asked
My uncle
questions.
Richard lives in Ohio.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know how crazy Ohio is. Good God. But
Yep.
yep.
Sister Bethy, I would really like to put that on the table for you. Like I said, I have a lot of 5th generational seeds that I can, if you want me to, I can ship them to whoever wants to do it. I'm talking about all types of seeds.
Okay.
I had my farm for a very long time, and I got out of the deal that I was in, and I still have all my seeds, and I'm planting here on my own personal property just for my family. But I have a lot of seeds, a lot.
That's awesome. All right, well, let's talk about it. So, I was gonna say something else. Yes, don't forget to um go to the website, but I'll be on again tomorrow,
Yes, ma'am.
reminding everybody every day, you know, to talk about other things. I was gonna say something else. I had a brain fart. Oh
That's the
boy.
time to go to bed. That's the time to lay down and
No,
call it a night.
no, not that. I was
Okay.
gonna say something, but I forgot what I was gonna say.
Please register at Wyatt Nation to join the Zoom meeting to find out how you can do
I don't
genealogy.
know that.
Find
No,
out
no,
how
no, you got it.
find
I
out how
forgot
you
what I
can
was gonna
create your
say.
family tribe and become a part of the community that we are building, that Sister Bethy is building, not for the betterment of just her or anyone else. It's for all of us.
Yes.
This is a
All of us.
general
I
understanding
want to
that
see our
all of
people.
us need.
I want to see our people reestablish some tribes. It's really going to make a difference. That's what's going to make the difference. Fighting and debating, it helps because it educates us, but establishing and bringing them tribes back really, really makes a huge difference. Huge. It changes our identities back to who we were. It does all of that, and that's what I'm into over here. But again, when y'all mention names, I have like, my name is my literal name is Be the One. That's my name, birth name.
What? Be the one?
Yes,
Yep.
that's my birth name. Spell it. I'm gonna spell it.
Beth,
Hold up, I'm gonna change it. Nope, that's not my name. That's my short name because
and short
I
name.
got picked on in school.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put my real name up there.
It feels good. This feels
This
all
is
the way
what-
good. Damn, it feel good to be Aboriginal. Damn, it feel good to be Aboriginal. Damn, it feel good to be Aboriginal.
Look at my name.
Where'd you put it at?
Where'd you put it?
It's right there under me.
Oh,
one.
okay.
Bethonia. Be
Yeah.
the
No.
one. Be the one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I see.
Oh,
That is my birth name. I swear to God.
Your mom was just being creative.
Yeah, she was. Nobody in the world has my name. I said, Mom.
Mm-mm.
why'd you name
So my mom, all my life, called me this, and to this date, everybody else called me Bethy, but that's who my mother called me.
Baby.
Yeah,
That's cute.
Bebby. That's what my mother called me, Bebby. Yeah. But I'm like, my mother was one of them weird people. It had to be different.
No.
So,
No.
well, no, she wasn't weird. I guess maybe she was being Indian, but that's my
Yep.
name, the one. But
That is.
we'll set it for Bebby. Set it for Bebby. Yep.
So you know what? You know I got to say this to you, right?
Mm.
I've been doing this and listening to you since you started. And I can say this again. I'm gonna say it again. I will always yield myself and put myself to your side because my understanding comes a lot from your teaching and my research. And the one thing that I figured out was one thing. When you get rid of your ignorance, you will learn.
And I wouldn't call it always ignorance. It's just exactly what it is, y'all. It's indoctrination.
It's
And then-
indoctrination.
Yeah, it's indoctrination.
Indoctrination.
And if we could get away from the reconstructed record, just understand them. These are reconstructed. These are not. These are reconstructed records. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. We got a lot of people here on YouTube teaching our history, so we're making a difference. We all are. So I love y'all, and I'm about to get on up out of this piece and go and relax.
You gonna do a redirect?
To who? Oh, Add Power Show.
Add Power. You gonna do a redirect?
Add Power is not on. I'm not sending these politics folks over there. They're gonna be going crazy again. The last I said them, they was like, "Where the hell are we? What is going?" I was getting all mad, Texas, and I'm like, "He's like, are these guys really fighting?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm out."
Good night.
Good night. Love you.